lift off for the final time in 2022 here on Racing Post Live in association with Betfair. It is Saturday, would you believe it? I know every day at the moment feels like a bit of a bank holiday or indeed a Sunday, but it's a double header coming for you. Myself, Dave Orton, thrilled to be back in the seat. What have we got? 8 races coming your way, and it's fair to say we've been waiting for it all year. Well, on the final day, the weather somehow sums up the mood of the global economies and all that sort of stuff at the moment. It is chucking down. It's fair to say it's going to be testing wherever you look today. We'll be covering Newbury, Grade 1, Challow Hurdle at 3 o'clock. Cannot wait for that. Final race is a 2-mile 4 handicap chase. Couple of non-runners coming your way, and we'll be popping to Warwick as well, where it says the going stick is lower, but to my eye, it looks a little bit kinder to the surface there. Get involved. Let us know you're out there. Happy New Year, one and all. Final time, we'll be giving you our highlights of 2022 here. Cannot wait for that. Loads of fun coming your way. Like and subscribe. That's what it's all about. If you're watching on YouTube, you can do that. Let's ramp up the chat. Who's out there? Give us your highlights then. We're not going to do resolutions yet. We're going to be back with you tomorrow for Cheltenham. Cannot wait. All right, anything on Twitter. Hashtag RP Live. Who's with me? They're back. It's fair to say we've been batting off NASA's request for them to lead up the new space programme all year, but we've managed to keep Mattie Batch and Charlie Poste with us. You're sought after individuals.
Yes, we've been known as spacemen when we were riding.
I tell you what.
And you're continuing the trend.
There are a few spacemen out there, aren't there?
It's been said before that Batch was well able to rocket one as well.
Very, very good. The puns will be coming thick and fast. Now, you're sitting in a particular chair here this afternoon.
How
are you feeling about this?
Well, I'm just wishing the day that Batch hangs up those boots and he can take over, because he's far more accomplished on this than me.
Clinging on like a barnacle, isn't he? Like Rodgers at Leicester, he clings on, absolutely. Or Bilic at Watford after last night, I should say. Anyway, look, great to have you with us. And it's all right, because you're pressing the buttons for a man that likes you a great deal. Shall we go over to Dublin one last time in 2022? Here he is. It's Barry Orr.
You for the last day of what's been a great year for us here on Racing Post Live.
It really has, absolutely. Barry, we'll be giving all the highlights. Of course, we're Injured Jockeys Fund as well, aren't we? As we always say, if you're new to the show, Barry showcases the functionality of the exchange, gives you some sportsbook prices as well, anti-post fingers on the buzzers as well. Before we put on a lucky 15 today for the punters out there and viewers, Barry, there's been some activity as well, hasn't there, of course? Jet Powered sunk in the second race at Newbury, and we had a 3-year-old that absolutely hosed up.
Yeah, we did. And Jet Power getting beat like that meant that he went out to 33-1 from 6-1 for this Supreme. It saw Facile Vega without having to leave his box go to 8-11 from even money. So he's hardened at the head of the market, as has Marine Nationale, who's 11-2 from 8-1. We've introduced the winner at 9-1 into the Triumph market and 16 into the Supreme. So it'll be interesting to see what route they go with him.
Yeah, Paul Nicholls won that with Good Bull, that introductory hurdle a couple of years ago as a 3-year-old. So Triumph, that would make him second favourite, wouldn't it? Look, Mark Hughes joins the party, opens us up for the final time in 2022 in the social corner, and he says, "Oh, I say Jet has lost his power." That was deflating, wasn't it?
Very deflating, yeah. As Poste alluded to earlier, he was quite keen early in that ground, wasn't he?
Alluded to. He knows that I'm a big fan of the horse, and he was winding me up throughout the first.
I wasn't winding you up.
You were.
Unfortunately, you don't know the difference between a keen horse and a settled one. And I said to you, that horse is keen.
That man writes the comments for the Racing Post.
I know, mate. Well,
after a year with 2 professionals, you still don't know what a keen horse is.
And I said he's keen early, and then up the straight, you're going, oh, he absolutely hoses up. And I said he's about to, he's paying the price for that. And you went, in fairness, he probably is.
We got 2.5 hours of this, Barry. I hope you can cope. I'd rather be in Dublin, I can tell you that much, than having to deal with these 2 buffoons. But I'll tell you what, you remember when Rodway made his famous comment about the trainers and Paul Nicholls said, we should get him down for Ditchy. I'll have you an afternoon in the close-up department, right? Yeah. The Racing Post, and we'll see how we get on. We'll film it. Let me tell you, NASA will all of a sudden not be knocking. Let's get the lucky 15 on then, Barry, shall we? Let's get the first business out of the way.
Yeah, let's do it. Yeah, so it's a lucky 15. 15 bets, 6 doubles, 4 trebles in the accumulator, and 4 singles. We're going to do it for a quid each way. So it's going to cost us £30. The first leg is Mongol Emperor here in the 115. Second leg is the 225, the ex-Gordon Elliott runner, Fagan. Our third leg is in the feature event at 3 o'clock, Adalco BU. And our fourth and final leg is, well, it's actually our first leg at 135 is Farmers, or our second leg at 135 Farmers Gamble in Warwick. So we're going to put in the 4 of them. I think it comes to over 100 grand anyway if they all click. But hopefully we get a few placed at the very minimum and we're able to get a couple of each way cross doubles and trebles.
It's fair to say if there was a competition for hitting the crossbar, I used to go to, Watford was my team when I was a kid, as everyone well knows. And I used to do this half-time thing where the substitutes or whatever would stand on the halfway line and try and hit the crossbar. And Barry would be a champion at that. The Maltese have been on the move. We had one land, of course. That was Shergar Cup Day, I think, when he was on incredible form. Over 100 grand for the charity. Come on, we got to will this today.
Come on.
Oh yeah.
Willpower takes you a long way. Again, you spacemen know a lot about that, don't you? But it's you can't have looked over his shoulder this morning, but you're actually agreeing in the first race.
Yeah, we are for sure. As in, I came down with Mongol Emperor as well myself. I mean, his first chase run was pretty uninspiring at Wetherby, but I thought it was better the last day behind Parliament Hill. He's a keen going horse and. He just seems to be getting his act together. He's a former point-to-point winner. And I just thought this race...
Oh, here we go.
He loves a point-to-point winner, doesn't he?
Another advert for
Irish point-to-point winner.
You occasionally do advertise that sphere, do you?
Look, as in, I'm more than happy to advertise my friends over the water as well. We're all in the same game.
There goes the free bar at Wexford coming up, absolutely.
Exactly.
He knows what he's doing.
But yeah, as in, I just thought, there were question marks over a few of the ones shorter in the market. The horse of Venetia's I thought was very short relatively for handicap chase day and chase debut. Been off since February. Sam Drinkwater's fell last time out. Bit of a soft fall. Looked like it was coming in to have every chance. Won this race last year, but off a significantly lower mark. And so I just was looking for something with a bit of value. And I came down with Mongol Emperor. And the one thing you do like to see when you put your selections in is when Barry Orr also has them involved in his. It gives
and
you
you're hoping for a free bar in Dublin now as well.
Yeah, exactly. Anytime Barry wants me over,
there you go. He'll be on the podcast next, Barry.
Be a pleasure to have him.
There you go. All right, there you go.
Great knowledge.
Where's this coming from then, Barry? Is he pretty much summed it up? And is it the single trade that we're going to get out of the way as well?
Yeah, I'm going to back him winning place on the exchange. We're going to have 25 quid win. Currently trading at 12.5. 13 he's trading at now, and we're going to look in the 4-place market and have 25 quid there as well in the 4 places. He's got some decent back form over hurdles as well. This is his kind of mark. He's rated 120 over fences now. Like in Wetherby, his first run was really uninspiring. Like Charlie said, he was beating 27 lengths. He was 7-7. That was his first run after nearly 200 days off. He went back to Wetherby, dropped back to 2 miles, which I think is important to this horse. And he finished fourth. He was only beaten a little over 10 lengths behind Parliament Hill. I think he'll come on significantly for that. He had the tongue tie on that day as well for the first time. His run behind Bold Plan in Cheltenham at the back end last April was a decent run. I don't think he just gets home over the 2.5 miles. So I'm glad to see him back in trip here to 2 miles. He travels well. If he's up with it, he could take it up early enough as well. He could be a pace angle here too, because I don't see a whole lot of pace in this race. But yeah. Mongol Emperor for me, relatively unexposed, like a few of these as well, over fences, and could exploit that mark of 120.
All right, then, there you go. And all of you that like to follow Barry, you've also got the penalty of Poste coming on for you as well in the first race. But that's the first trade, and he has been a big money horse, and the Mulholland and Scudamore combination really let you down. Interesting about the pace, yeah, he could well be, couldn't he? And just looking at the ground ought to be all right for him. It's as soft as it has been all season. Not all year probably, but all season at Newbury. 10 non-runners throughout the card today. A couple in the last, a couple of biggies in the last.
Yeah, shame about the couple in the last, but there we go.
Bold Endeavour and Dr. Ken. But that will still be a mighty race to watch. We've got the Mandarin today as well, haven't we?
The Mandarin, yes, Dave.
Fond memories, Batchy?
Fond memories of me and Carruthers going around there, yeah.
Did he basically win every big race for you? It was like, I asked you who you won the Mandarin on, and you went Carruthers.
Of course it's Carruthers.
Yeah. What a partnership.
Anyone I ever won on.
He's good at Newbury, wasn't he? Yeah.
Good at Newbury, yeah.
I was, a bit like Davy Russell, you could have retired at the top.
You've got to reach there first, Dave.
Yeah, quite right. No, but yeah, okay. So it was the mud was flying then. This is traditionally run on soft ground, I should say. Still, actually, believe it or not, good to soft. Would you believe, despite the fact the heavens have opened,
it didn't look like it.
What?
Good to soft earlier.
It looked softer, didn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Interesting. So we'll keep an eye on the time. So we've had 2 races on the hurdles course. We move now to the chase course. I'm tempted to say this is my favourite chase track out there. And that's when people, not Cheltenham, they go. But I think that Ascot is my favourite jumps track, it's local to me. I've got memories there. And I've seen some worldies go around there over the years.
Why is Newbury your favourite, Chase?
I love that cross fence.
Yeah.
I absolutely love it, and I just think it's so fair.
Yep.
You've got the great races there, don't you? And again, I used to work in Newbury quite a lot. There was a race form office down there, so I always used to go to Newbury, and Hennessy Day was always my favourite. But don't get me wrong, the home straight of Cheltenham is definitely the best home straight in racing. But this is just all personal opinions. But I love the chase.
It's
track.
a proper jumpers rhythm track, isn't it, Newbury?
Yeah.
Is in.
I even love the water jump there. A lot of people don't like the water jump, don't they? But I think you can often see it catch a few out of Newbury. I don't know. It's weird, isn't it? It's right in front of the stands as well, which is quite rare as well. Anyway, enough about that. I love this chase course, and I looked at this race. I don't like the second favourite, who you mentioned, Drinkwaters, this Gallic Geordie. I think I put him up as the Racing Post eye catcher of the day when he was second at Lingfield on his return. But he was just getting going that day.
Yeah.
And I think he might struggle to stick with them when they start sprinting. You never know what you're going to get after a fall. I think he would have been second at best that day as well.
Yep.
Second, that's it, yeah.
Yeah, only money, the ground might be an issue for him. Casa Tall I thought was interesting. And Tom Siegel's put that up in the price-wise for you followers out there. But I thought Gamere might win this, Posty. I know you think he's short. Well, they could have gone for a handicap.
It was just pure. It was price related though. I just thought there is enough questions to answer to be backing him at 3.75.
She's won this with a lightly raced. She being Venetia, of course, and she's having a good Christmas, isn't she? So Charlie Deutsch will do. I thought the Fab might take this out. It's a bit of a leap of faith with some of them. I like Earth Company as well, but it's too bad to be drawn his return. Batch.
I'm opposing the favourite just because, as I say, the price of it, first time over fences, and I'm going to stick with only money. I know you're not sort of keen on the ground, but if it's not stopped raining there, they should get away with it, should get through it. Good second to Amarello Sky over a caution distance.
We were in that day, weren't we?
Yeah, and Chris Gordon said they're still running in, they're still in good form. So for me, only money, just for a bit of value.
He just always seems to be in decent form, Gordon, doesn't he? Tom Cannon, of course, who had an unfortunate mishap on day after Boxing Day, didn't he?
Yeah, me and Posty were talking about it earlier. I think it's just one of those things you can, when you've got a horse that can jump as well as that and has been absolutely class, you do tend to trust them. And it's not a bad thing by any sort of shape or form.
Oh, overconfident?
Not really.
For want of a different expression.
Well, you don't expect a horse that has been around the courses he has and has jumped emphatically like he has. You wouldn't expect him to do what he done.
Because they were sort of like slaloming up to it, weren't they?
It's just one of those
you
things.
knew it was going to happen almost.
He probably won't do it again, touch wood.
Yeah.
But it's just one of those freak moments, and it's just unfortunate.
Well, touch wood, this horse has been foot perfect so far, and he's a really, really consistent horse. They're about to jump off. Barry, final market moves. It looks like Gamere's really hard at the top of the market.
Yeah, 3.65, 5.5, Gallic Geordie, only money 6.8, and it's 10 bar.
Thanks, Barry. OK, we go off to Warwick at 1:35 after this. Hope you're enjoying the intro to the show so far. This is the first of 8 races. And who's up for the lead here? Blimey, Capitaine. Who's Capitaine with now? Same colours, of course, and Martin Broughton. But now with having a first run for Barry Brennan, of course. Not available for Matt Shepherd. Matt Shepherd's got a fancied runner coming up in the next race at Warwick. He's up there. He likes to lead. Sam Twiston-Davis, big 24 hours coming up for Sam. Courtland on the inside. Gamere, now has he gone over the first couple, lads? He's in 4th at the moment. He's a bit sweaty as well, which is interesting.
He's warm, but to be fair, it's a mild day. I mean, certainly for all that it's miserable. I don't think it's a cold day, so I wouldn't be too concerned about that. I think he's jumped the first couple well. Mongol Emperor is a bit keen, I think, early doors.
Oi, and there is that famous water jump. And let's have a look at the Mongol then. Where is he? Right, now that's perfect where you want to be, isn't it?
Yeah, it is.
Right in the midfield, lots of cover. Courtland took a bit of a full step on the bend there. Please don't tell me they're going to be holding us up by coming out and having one of their great shows of authority after this.
No, they won't, Dave. These are jump boys.
Oh, yeah. The spacemen are out on track at least. Gallic Geordie, he's right at the back if you're on the second fab. One that doesn't look like he's enjoying himself. He was pulled up last time was Phil Illico as well.
Yeah, a couple of wraps down the shoulder from John O'Neill Jr. there.
As we go on to the far side then, Barry, how does the exchange settle? Oh, company gone.
Company gone.
2.4, your favourite now, Gamay. 5.7, Gallic. Mongol Emperor is 9.8 trading that. But your favourite Strong now. He seems to have gone into a nice rhythm.
Yeah, jumping well.
Yeah, and they're sort of is a slight difference of opinion, isn't there? Cortland's the one that's stuck on the inside. I know he took that full step, but he all of a sudden he's come under pressure, isn't he? And Gallic Geordie's going the inside as well, unlike Only Money Batch. And this is a ground thing, isn't it? Tom's done his own work. Look, it looks like pudding to me, boys, there.
Tom would have run around the track. He always does before the racing as well. So
we got James Byrne at the track for us doing the reporting today, a Lambourne correspondent. He said after the first set it's definitely no worse than soft, but the rain continues to fall. It's something we're going to have to watch here. Cassatul catching my eye in midfield. Hang on a minute, what's going on here? Oh, the favourite whacked into Only Money there. Very novice, but the fact that Charlie Deutsch is sending in Poste, he suggests as we come up, 6 out we are now, suggests they're really confident in this one's chances.
Very much so. I mean, Charlie Deutsch, he's one of those sort of riders. He's always going forward with the horse, giving them the freedom to go and jump. And like I say, he's found excellent early rhythm as they turn into, what is it?
The famous cross fence. 5 out we are.
The greatest fence in racing.
It's an unbelievable fence, this. But this is when they come alive at Newbury, isn't it?
It is, very much so.
If Posty was riding here, he'd be screaming at you all now, wouldn't he? OK, so here we go. 5 out then. And I'll tell you what, the favourite took it like an old pro, didn't he? Barry, we're just about to go into the home straight, and surely that even money's going to be under pressure soon with this fav.
No, 6-4 now. Yeah, into evens now.
We're happy enough, Barry.
Gallic Geordie, 8.8 Mongol Emperor is challenging on the outside.
Yeah,
something travels well in behind in the Black Cat. What's that?
That's Cassatul.
Yeah.
Cassatul. This is Aidan Coleman for Tom George, who was fair to say caught the eye last time at Sandown, and he's handicapped to win. 4 out, then we've got the reverse angle on here. Only Money is creeping, guys. Sam Drinkwater. Fav now, all of a sudden, we haven't seen him for long, and look at the Emperor on the outside. The Mongolian. Yeah. I'll tell you what, the boys are going to be excited here. This is 3 out, then over they go again. The Fav just probably had a blow there,
If Skew just holds them together, he wins. He doesn't need to get out.
Yeah, exactly. Hey, Barry, we might have the wrong jockey here, though. He likes to pull the trigger.
Tom Skew. Come on, Tom, hold him there, son. I'll tell you what, win, lose or draw, this is running absolute blind. The Gallic Geordie now, this is the pace I was worried about for him. We had a faller there, wasn't sure who that was. That Cassatul, I think, was it?
Yeah.
Mongol Emperor now having a good old think about it.
Yeah,
so it's between the two market leads. Up you go, Fav. Dave Orton's going to get the first one in, I think. When Venetia's got one straight into handicap company over fences.
Dave.
They know what they've got. We're going to go through the card here on the panel. It's the final day of 2022, and away he goes.
4 places, though. Mongol Emperor.
You got your 4 places, did you?
Yeah.
There you go. Pocket talking again for Posty. Never mind, Dave Orton getting a winner over the line. Gallic Geordie finishes second. I think he does just want a little bit further. Big run from him. And not available, got the 3rd. Mongol, he just, when the moment they let these horses down, you know what you're going to get, don't you? But great run, Barry, and we're off and running.
Yeah, Betfair SP at 3.65 for the winning favourite. Get the favourite backers off to a flyer. Mongol was only 4th. There was only 3 places there in the sportsbook, so we're bet out, unfortunately.
Well, we've got the Warwick to get us back, Barry, coming up at 1:35. We've got a little bit of gap in between the races today. And we certainly from after Hermes Allen coming in. Perhaps we'll just concentrate on the Challow for a minute, Barry. Grade 1 action to see us off here. The Challow's there. We're used to a small field here. We'll get the guys' opinions in the run up to it. We've got a great big gap after that. We can talk about all the highlights and all that sort of stuff. I'm sure we'll do then of 2022. You've spoken to Paul, of course, the Betfair ambassador. Hermes Allen. Did he think he'd have all these rivals to face?
Yeah, I suppose, obviously, because there's been a dearth of racing in recent days or in recent weeks with that cold snap, you're getting a lot of horses that ordinarily might have gone somewhere else and picked up easier races are kind of getting funneled into this. But, yeah, we've 2 non-runners in it now, brings it down to a field of 12. He's been relatively uneasy at the market. He's around 11-8 chance. He's 6-4, 13-8 in the exchange. I think he could hit 2-1 on the exchange. As bad as that ground gets, he's never raced on anything like that. Joy Machan, I don't fancy him either. He's currently second favourite around 7-2. I was given a bit of a chance to Ikado Biu in a Sam Twiston's Davis runner at a big price. I have it in my lucky 15. I thought he could go well, but yeah, Paul, as ever, is very positive about the likes of Lan. He surprised them. Like, you don't really bring top horses to Stratford to win maidens, but the form of that race, he won it easy, and the form worked out okay with the runner-up winning and running well as well since. But the race in Cheltenham that he won, he got a great ride that day, it has to be said, by Harry Cobden, but the second was ran over off a mark of 1:29 in a per temps qualifier in Leopardstown just a couple of days ago, and that has to be a bit of a worry.
Different ground conditions as well for Hermes Allen. Does he have to lead? That would be another question, wouldn't it? I'm sure they'll take a lead off him. He's just got such a good record in this race, hasn't he?
Yeah, and I don't think he has to take a lead. And I think they probably started him off at Stratford because the vibes you very much get is that they weren't that sure of him. You know, he wasn't showing an awful lot at home.
Which for a 350 grand purchase is remarkable, isn't it?
Yeah, well, it's surprising, isn't it? But like, you know, plenty of the best horses are the ones that don't show heaps at home, you know, just keep galloping, rolling away, and then they come alive when they get to the racetrack, you know, as in which is where you want it. And this horse has got it. He's got a lovely way of going through his races. He's an economical, sound jumper, and like you say, he fits the profile, doesn't he?
Well, Nicky Henderson said the same about Constitution Hill, didn't he? He said he showed him nothing for
Zipnado, yeah, good shout.
Yeah.
The only thing is that now they're trying to say they have to bus in horses from Charlie Hill just to work with him. It's like, wow, so he's gone from being the laziest horse in the world to now nothing can live with him. Yeah,
a couple of sprinters from next door.
Oh no, yeah, it's a funny.
Batash had to become over just to lead him, you know. As in
Charlie Hills, of course, lending out the flat horses. Look, we'll be talking about all that. That's coming up at 3 o'clock. 3:35 is our last race. Lots of gaps there, but get your questions in, guys. Get your naps in. Highlights as well of 2022. We're saving the New Year's resolutions. Your 2023 wish will be granted tomorrow because we're back at the same time, 1 p.m. for Cheltenham, and it was never going to get called off, was it, this year? It's like last 2 years we've lost meetings around this time of year at Cheltenham. It's, remember one year me and Barry had to do Tremor. Thank God for our
yeah, it's great to see though, isn't it? I mean, and again, the argument is do we need less racing? Because it's certainly making competitive action now, isn't it?
Let's have a chat about that as well, guys, because I did want to shout yesterday with Paul Keeley, who also likes the horse in the Challow that Barry put up of Nigel Tristan Davis as well, by the way. That'll be in your Sizzlers today in your members club, or if you're picking up your papers. You'll see that there. If you haven't got that, Kills is also keen on it. But we were marvelling at the fact that I think at the 48-hour deck period for the weekend, there was only something. I mean, it was a remarkable amount of each-way terms finally.
Yeah, which
in
is
races.
great to see, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly. Now, surely that's got to have something to do with the fact that we've had a balanced spell, hasn't it?
Well, but do you think the powers that be will take that on board or not?
What do you reckon, Barry? Let's bat that over to you. You don't have the problem, of course, with small fields, mainly in Ireland, because you race less days.
Yeah, less racing, and less opportunities for them to duck and dive, I suppose, as Gordon Elliott said. But, I suppose for us now, for the top quality national hunt horses, it's all about, from early season, they're being aimed towards Leopardstown at Christmas. And then from Leopardstown at Christmas, the real good ones will go on to the Dublin Racing Festival and on to Cheltenham and then back for Punchestown. That's the route mapped out by Willie Mullins and Gordon Elliott. And that's kind of set in stone now for the real top horses.
Is there an argument to say we really ought to be looking at something like... I mean, they've absolutely nailed it. I remember saying that to you on Boxing Day, didn't we? Where we were like, OK, where does Facile go now? We're trying to map it out. And Keels yesterday said he's even money to even run in the Supreme. I mean, after Jet Powder's flop, by the way, guys, I've seen just a sea of blue, and I see he's 8 to 11 on the sports.
Why, where does he think he'll run?
Well, he thinks he's going to go Ballymore. Yeah, and if you think about that impair and pass, he said... I'll be honest, I wasn't that impressed with Facile on Boxing Day. We covered it, didn't we? He was a little bit... I know he had to do the donkey work and stuff, but he was a little bit workmanlike for my money. And what you might have an off day, and listen, the horse is obviously... He's a proper horse. He had a tough bumper campaign as well.
I mean, you say an off day, though, but he still won by a decent enough
What do you make of the
distance,
runner-up, though? It was another 1-2, wasn't it? And we'll talk about that 40% strike rate, by the way.
Yeah, I mean, I completely agree with your argument that the form... You're questioning what it's worth. You're questioning the way he went about it, but he still got it done, didn't he? You know.
Yes. I don't know. I just was expecting. Listen, for a horse that is going to go off 1-8 before you even see the opposition.
Completely agree. I hear exactly what you're saying, but I would counter that with he still got it done and got it done nicely enough in the end. And I'd imagine Willie is working back from Cheltenham, whether that be the Supreme or the Ballymore. But again, he's got that much ammunition. And we saw it, with Sir Gerhard and things like that, but he can move him around as he likes, can't he? Really?
This is the thing. It's Willie, isn't it? I mean, but
he knows what he's got with Facile as well. And like the big day is Cheltenham, so you could do what you have to do at home, and you could probably send Facile there 3/4.
His mum obviously wanted 2-4, didn't she? You know,
he'd still do what he'd done, workman-like, but it's still good enough.
Most bumper horses do want trips, don't they?
Yeah, they do.
Yeah.
You have to. I mean, there's a school of thinking that you have to stay well to win a bumper. You've got no obstacles to break things up, and they're young horses, and normally they need to have a stamina in reserve to see out these bumpers, especially the better bumpers. But again, I would argue, with plenty of Cheltenham winners, you want the ability to stay further than the trip you're racing over. You know, and I don't think having a bit of stamina in the locker is a bad thing for a Supreme.
It's a lack of opposition potentially as well,
Yes.
isn't it? But look, at the same time, we've had a lot of 9 to 2 the fields at this time of year, Supremes, haven't we, guys out there? And here we are with a hot pot. We should be celebrating.
What the discussion you're saying is like, I mean, British racing has always been great in that we have these big races that at different tracks and in different meetings that fall through the season. But more and more we're seeing that they get ignored in the fact that Cheltenham is the be-all and end-all. And I think Ireland is evolving and showing that if that is going to be the case, well then let's have festivals in their own right that work, I'm not going to say Cheltenham trials, but work towards the festival being the be-all and end-all. Whereas in England, we don't have that, and we have big races just chucked in on weekends wherever.
We've missed the window a bit, though, haven't we? Because,
Possibly.
of course, it's such a good incentive. It's such a good festival. Even getting in, I've seen a lot of racing Twitter been saying, it's 44 euros for both days. Wow.
Yeah.
All that sort of stuff. And massive incentives to race. It's the perfect time, isn't it? It's a month and a bit left till Cheltenham.
Yeah.
It's just perfect. You couldn't have made up the window any better. So where we would put something like that, I don't know. Maybe it would have to be Betfair Hurdle Day or something like that. I don't know. That's a lovely sit, isn't it, before Cheltenham?
But it's also not our way to have to have Betfair in Newbury there, but to have like a 3-day meeting at Newbury. I just don't see it happening.
Yeah, no, exactly that. But this is more incentive to run throughout the season. You break your novice in October, November. If you're a Supreme horse, in some cases December, but then you've got the.
I think we're all in agreement. Like you say, the narrative is evolved, and like I say, Ireland is showing the way to do that and to bring the top horses together through the course of the season, rather than it being just at Cheltenham.
All right, okay. All right,
It'd be nice to see them take them over to it. Not that they ever will.
It's weird that we don't do that, isn't it?
That would be great to go over there.
It's a bit odd that doesn't happen a bit more. But travelling horses.
I think the issue right now is when we're getting it handed to us at Cheltenham in one day in March. If you think we're going to go over on the run up to it to get our asses
some more egg on our face,
You're going to take the easy option, aren't you?
Yeah, of course you are, and that's the problem right now.
All right, okay. Listen, let's hone back in on Warwick because we say hello to the turning track, and it's around about it's sort of bordering on heavy ground, but to my eye it looked pretty good. And we have what will be, I think, a grueling 3-mile 2 race. Barry Orr, you like one here?
Yeah, One for Mama is your favourite at 4.7. That's been really well pumped now for the last 48 hours. Sporting Ace is 6, 7.4 Langley 100. Farmers Gamble is 10 and it's 13 bar. Yeah, I like Tristan Durrell's Mount Farmers Gamble. Won over 3 miles his first time at the trip in Perth back in April. It was a handicap hurl. He won it by 5 lengths off 102. He started his season in November over 2 miles, which I thought was interesting. And they made him 11-4 favourite. Now, he never really raised the gallop. Later the same month, he went back up to 3 miles and he was second to the reopposing Langley 100. He stayed on really well that day. I think a marathon trip, the 3 mile 2 here, should suit him. I like Thurston Durrell. I think he's real value for that £5 claim. I fancy him on 1 in the next as well here in Warwick. So we're going to be a backer of Farmers Gamble, please, at 10. Again, happy to take the price here, Charlie.
How much,
Barry?
We're
going to have 25 quid.
Yeah.
He's like an old handicapper, isn't he, on that machine?
Oh,
he's
yeah.
absolutely winging
Flying.
it. I mean, not even Wilders is that good, He's an absolute, and Barry does have his favourites.
He's sorting his plans for the evening though, whilst he's also doing the clicking the buttons, isn't he?
Yeah, he's back tomorrow, Robbie Wilders. With yourself?
Yeah.
With yourself, yeah, double header, great stuff. All right, okay, and Barry back with us, of course. Highlights of 2022. Let us know, as it says down there. Let's get some socials up before we see what the panel fancies. They circle round at the start. Let's have a look. There's Barry's tip up there. It's got a swing in the weights, isn't it, with the Hobbs horse. I've been waiting 264 days for this one to run. Named after the 2 gentlemen next to me, Lucky So and So. Yeah, I fancy this, Paul. There's a bit of good links going on here. Nicky Martin couldn't have had much better of a Christmas period, could she? I quite fancy this as well. And 200-1 winning, was he yesterday?
Yeah.
Taunton.
Yeah. Unbelievable.
Sean Bowen wrote it,
And the 2 amigos, I mean, that if you didn't feel good about that, there's something wrong with you. I mean, he's been bridesmaid, isn't he, for a long time.
Knocking on the door, yeah.
And the Pritchard, you wouldn't even know he's really in the saddle. But Paul, I'm with you. Wouldn't worry about it first time up, and caught the eye more than once, didn't it? And I want something unexposed here. And El Supali comes back on. Sporting Ace win. And Nichols on the dime for Cayley Woolacott and Josh Newman. Course winner, of course, has got some good back class to his name. Only off a mark of 109 now. Like that, NL.
Big worry, Sporting Ace, Neil King's form, isn't it? I think, is it like one winner in the last 6 months?
The market's not worried about it, is it? And this is a very consistent horse. Just quickly, Tristan Dorrell.
Yeah, I actually coach him. Yeah, really good rider.
Here we go.
Not that I do it, because he gets a lot of help from the Skeltons anyway. But he's a good lad, works really hard, and like Barry says, I think he is really good value.
And it's a great job for him to have, isn't it? Batch, what do you think wins this?
I'm going to go with Langley 100. Two good wins at Exeter and Ludlow. Yeah. One for Mama. The only thing that worries me that 9 months off, come back third if bounces a little bit. So I'm going to go with Langley 100. Don't know a lot about Elizabeth Gale. Do you?
She's riding actually well, as in she's getting a few opportunities for Philip Hobbs. I think Farmers Gamble is £6 better off, but I didn't think was guaranteed to turn that form around.
It's an interesting horse, Langley 100, because it's entered again next week, and this is a conditionals, hurdle. Yeah. Taking the £10 off, it's actually £4 better. You know, she can ride £4 money.
Crying out for the trip as well. I think it'll suit the trip.
Yes, it has looked to stay in the making, and it was one of my eye catchers on the start of the season. It's one it's next to, so you might want to follow them.
Yeah, we'll expect no less.
You expect no less.
One for Mama for me, as in I think he made his return last year in the same Haydock race and actually ran poorly. So the third was a step up, and he's a course and distance winner. He's won over fences here as well. Loves heavy ground. So solid chance.
Yeah, he's got an interesting handicap mark because he's got a much better over fences. But Ned Fox. What do we know about Ned as they line up?
Yeah, again, a solid rider. Good value for 7. Just going back to Farmers Gamble and Go Steady, which I think might be the one for Barry in the next as well. Owned by our ex-jockey Ian Popham and his dad.
Popham?
Yeah, Pops, yeah.
Well, Popsy
best looking man in the wham room.
Yeah, beautiful boy.
Very beautiful man.
Apart from myself, of course.
Well, indeed, Batch, absolutely. You are. Don't look a day over 50, mate. Right, OK, where are we? Lord Snooty in there with a bit of a chance as well. Christian Williams could do with a bit of a pick-me-up, couldn't he? He's going to have a strong end to the season. He's going to have some well-handicapped horses. This is quite interesting. Spoke to David Pipe yesterday. He said last quarter, despite the fact he won last time, Skoo earned 10 riding fees, I think. So Philip Armson's he's a bit of a character, this chap, of course, in the remastered colours, the native river colours. This is going to be a bit of a slog. Barry, we've had our say. Who's hardening at the top and who's not?
One for Mama, still your favourite at 4.7, 5.7 Sporting Ace. Langley 100 is 10.5, same price Farmers Gamble, and it's 13 bar.
Lovely.
The one money there has been money for one horse is Lord Snooty. That's into 10 now. Yeah, Jack Tudor rides. That's into 10 now, having been matched at 23.
I saw him first weekend of December, didn't we? We went to our awards lunch, and he sat near quite close to us, didn't he? And I think ever since When My Wings was declared no more on the track, it's been a tough old run for Christian.
Yeah,
the horses haven't really been, some of them haven't really run up to scritch. 5-star Getaway at Kempton, they were expecting a bit more of that, but they are target yards.
Very much so.
I would suggest that they have some spring targets. That it will click.
Yeah, you're never sure if they're out of form by design or.
I think he would like a couple more on the board. To be honest, it's a fairly tough time for them down there in Wales at the moment, and those unique settings they have. But it will click. Don't you worry about that. And off we go then. First race of a couple coming your way this afternoon at Warwick. And off we go. Warwick's been really well advertised this year. John Bon, of course.
On the right clip down to the first, I think.
These conditionals.
Rousting them into it.
I think they think they're on the 5 furlong sprint track at Beverley, don't they, at the moment? Well, the thing to tell you is there is a war on for the lead, and it's being led at the moment by Bradley Roberts, who's on Potter's Hedger, course and distance winner, an old boy there. Looking for what's upsides him as well. It's fair to say
One for Mama.
One for Mama is
Rocco
right there.
Widest out on the track for Nigel Tristan-Davis and Finn Lambert.
Lord Snooty going wide as well under Jack Tudor. It's remarkable, isn't it, to think that some of these boys are claiming so much. All right, let's have a look at where.
I don't know the speed they're going.
Hang on a minute. David Pritchard thinks he's in the Welsh National, doesn't he? I think he thinks he's got another 4 furlongs to go because he's right out the back at the moment. All of a sudden, I'm not liking particularly the look of that, although you just can't go the clip. A bit like Farmers Gamble, who's out the back as well. It's fair to say,
he's out the back there.
No.
Yeah. Say he's out the back. He's been 6 or 7 lengths off the lead.
What'd you say, in rear? Listen, once again, I tell you what, they're having a right pop on the club. I'll do the close-ups here.
Yeah.
I'll tell you my appraisal was like you've never seen.
You want to have a badge with that on next time, so we all remember that.
Shall I have a close-up cam? So you can go, whoa, you might want to think about that one. I'll tell you what, the biggest compliment you ever get paid as a close-up rider is that no one ever moans about them or even notices them. All right, anyway, so here we are at the back. Where's Last Quarter? He just went through the top of that one, Philip Armisen. One that's catching my eye out the back is Ian Williams, Dare McConville, Ernesto.
Yeah.
Has Ian Williams is he picked up at all recently, Ian Williams? Because the form was...
Couple of ran well that Charlie Todd's ridden, but they just ran okay without winning, as in they haven't hit their straps at all.
He's had a winner on the all-weather. It's almost
the
like
flat
the
horse
flat
are
horse
okay.
Weird that, isn't it? Weird. I don't know whether they're 2 yards. I don't think they are. Right, okay. In the middle then, Batch, your favourite at the moment. This is Langley 100, who was a big drifter, actually.
Yeah, travelling well. She's not got involved with the pace, which I like. It's sensible. And just travelling away and jumping well. They've settled down a bit now, but they were going at it a bit early doors.
They were. Let's go to Barry then, because I would call them fairly strung out, I think, at the moment. Barry Armour right out the back.
Yeah, 4.11 for Mama, 8.6 Lord Snooty continues to shorten, 5.2 Sporting Ace. It's 11 Bardot's 3.
Me and Paul
Farmers
Baker.
Gamble, couple
Won't
of
be
raps down
winning
the
is
shoulders.
yours anyway, Dave. Lucky so-and-so. He's out for 26 now.
Hang on a minute. If there's a God anywhere, then that's exactly the sort of magpie I needed, I think. No, I mean, he just can't really go the pace, can he? I'm not totally sure about the Farmers either. I don't think this is going to be one Gamble.
He's had a couple of smacks down the shoulder just to try and liven him up a bit.
I don't know. Is this a pace thing? Is it the ground? I don't know. Mine definitely isn't enjoying life. It's very rusty, lucky so-and-so. Paul Baker will not have to wait a few more days, I'm afraid, for this one to get over the line. Another one catching my eye out the back at the moment is Cawthorne Lad as well, which is Richie McClernand for John Joe O'Neill. Really, you're starting to come into it. Yeah, I think you
travelling well.
You can put another 0 on mine, unfortunately.
Sporting Ace also travelling nicely too.
Interesting. All right, then all to play for as we go on. Now, Poste, you're on one of the dual leaders, and I say dual in both senses. I could spell it with an E or I could spell it with an A.
Yeah.
Because he is literally fighting for it.
Yeah, but I'm not too concerned about that. I think you might find that being up and around the pace is where you want to be. As in, certainly with these lower grade horses on a turning track like Warwick on slow ground, it almost disheartens them when they're not in and around the speed,
Yes.
and then they struggle to get back in because really they're lacking the ability to do that anyway.
And these guys, you think that, with so many conditionals in it, you think that they are going to, when they sense the smell of the third last, if you like, they want to feel it.
Hopefully they don't feel the first last.
They
Yeah, they want to get over it, not feel it. Yeah.
All right, last
They're going to
quarter.
finish tired, aren't they?
Yeah, they're going to
they
finish
will do,
absolutely
yeah.
sapping stuff.
Langley
Now, all
100.
of a sudden, the Farmers Gamble seems to have taken some interest in this look out
Yeah.
the back. I know. What price did he go? He's right out. I'll tell you what, that 12s might evaporate soon. But again,
Langley
this
100 struggling.
This is
Yeah.
what is it? Okay. all
Richie
right.
is giving this an absolute peach.
You keep looking at the John Joe horse. If you
Yeah.
were having a bet in running backs, then you'd be all over Cawthorne
All
Lad.
over, yeah.
All right. What price is Cawthorne Lad, Barry, on the exchange?
Into 5.6 now.
Yeah, okay, all right. This is the one. Sporting A still going well, as Posty mentioned. Yeah, Langley's just for whatever
Falling
reason.
out the telly, yeah.
Don't fancy it. Can some horses get to this track and go, no, I just don't like it at all.
I think it's a deceptively sharp track.
Yeah.
And it's normally the ground that turns into a stamina test, this sort of track, as in you need to have a horse that's got a bit of speed and sort of, handles and traps around it, because
But Langley's
everything
won round
happens
Ludlow,
quickly.
so it shouldn't
Yeah.
really...
It's a weird one, isn't
Yeah.
it? Maybe it's the ground then. I'll tell you another one that's coming into prominence is Young Butler. So we can sell, all of a sudden they're hoping to sense this third last. Then Nichols on Dime falling in a hole. Still persevering on Lucky So-and-so's, anything but at the moment. And Farmers Gamble's now feeling the pinch. Lucky last quarter looks like he's
He
done.
jumped that sideways, Farmers Gamble.
No, yeah,
He's drunk.
all of a sudden, Young Butler just, what a quirky individual he is. He asked him, Tom Bellarmine, he said, no. So here we are. This is the third last then, guys. What do we like?
I think Sporting
I
Ace
like the
travels
one in
well.
front,
Anything.
don't you?
Yeah.
Young
Yeah,
Butler.
yeah.
Not Young Butler. What's it called?
This is
Sporting Ace.
Sporting
Yeah.
Ace.
Sporting Ace.
Now, basically, Posty
We're
said
now
that the
running
yard is
down to the.
terribly
We're
out
now
of form.
running down to the third last.
You said this couldn't win. You said this couldn't win. Oh, could this be a winner for Christian? Come
Yeah,
on.
Lord Snooty travels really
yeah.
well.
Probably named. Look at this, absolutely cruising. Oh my, come on! And now all
Let's
of us
go
look at
for it.
Farmers Gamble. He's a right old character, this chap. He's not. He's giving you this sort of like slow, painful. He's going to play something.
Placed
Barry.
anyway, will he?
He's going to place. Come
Yes,
on.
he will
He's not out of
definitely
it.
be placed.
Come on, the dog.
Lord Snooty
I'll tell you
comes
what,
off.
he's
He could win.
absolutely
He could win,
trapping
Barry.
all of a sudden. All of a
can't
sudden,
win from
Lord
there.
Snooty,
Yeah.
having cruised into it, is just about feels the pinch. He's looking like a place now. Sporting Ace, he was up there
go.
early, guys.
There you go.
The
Yeah.
Farmers Gamble is
Come on,
coming to
Christian.
second last. Could we possibly lift one over the line for you here on Racing Post Live this afternoon?
Farmers
Barry's gone for
wins.
this. They are walking up the home
Farmers
straight of
wins.
Warwick. Does do reckon he comes far side? All of a sudden,
Up
Lord
the stand
Snooty.
side, yeah.
I don't know.
Farmer's
I think he's
Leeds.
got to get after him, hasn't he? Come on, keep coming. Sporting Ace is absolutely out on his feet, but they're still needing a couple. Farmer's Gamble gets over that in third. Lord Snooty's found second win, lads. This will get 10 miles, won't it? This
Go on, Snooty, for
This is
Christian.
your Ida winner next year. Looks like Farmer's Gamble's booked for a
Go
place.
on,
only. What a
Snooty.
funny race he's run. Lord Snooty, then Christian Williams. It's been a long time between drinks. He's all of a sudden paddling. There's half a furlong left. Farmer's Gamble couldn't, could he? No, not quite. I'll tell you what, that is not necessarily what you would call a boy's ride. Well done, Tristan Durrell, for getting that home. If you backed it with Barry's play. Sporting Ace, no better than third. They're daylight back to the rest. 3 mile 2. I reckon Arthur Phil probably pulled up. Barry, he looked like he was paddling. Finally, a Saturday winner for the Williams yard.
Support to Dave. I told you he was matched at a high of 23 on the exchange for over 100 quid. He's a Betfair SP of 10.3. Sporting Ace traded at a low of 1.36, so around the 4 to 11 mark. And the runner-up, Farmer's Gamble, he traded at a low of 2s on. What did these people be looking at? I don't know. 2 to 1 on, he traded in running. Never for a stride did he look like he was going to win. He stayed on well, I suppose you'd have to say. Funny ride. I suppose it was more that the pace collapsed. He wasn't involved in the early pace, and he probably benefited from that.
He's going to be one for the Nafnals, isn't he, when he goes over fences, I think, Farmer's Gamble. The further, the better. Same as Lord Snooty as well. And I really hope Christian's got one here. You know, it was a point when I think last year Christian started to invest more in that sort of horse, I think. Your sort of slow burners, maybe, your stores he's got coming through and all that sort of stuff. But honestly, when you look at the run to form, I think he was 17.
Yeah.
And so look, great, absolutely. It's just all about patience, isn't it? Last season, he couldn't do much wrong, could he, Christian?
No.
He was winning all the big staying handicaps, 1-2s in Scottish Nationals and all that sort of stuff. And you can bet your bottom dollar when it comes to the February Adonis card at Kempton that Kitty's life will show himself to be on a fairly good mark, I think. So look, there you go. Who was with the gamble there? Jack Tudor. A decent staying chaser in the making, only a 5-year-old. Was it a 3-year-old win today? We've seen a 5-year-old win a staying race as well. That's Warwick underway, then 3 came well clear. How are we getting the trip so far, chaps? Are we like paddling a bit, or are we sensing glory?
Oh, it's glory all the way.
Glory all the way.
Okay, all right, good stuff.
Positive thinking, Dave.
Well, we're going to Newbury next. You might need some. It's the 150 coming up there. I'll tell you what, I really fancy one in the Mandarin as well. But for now, it is a 2 mile 4 handicap hurdler. And we didn't see Picard on the old Hennessy day, Barry, when the Cold Gold Cup was run. They took him out because they thought the ground was too fast. No problems on that account here. Could he yet be one for your Betfair hurdle, I wonder?
Yeah, I think it was entered as well for the Betfair Exchange trophy that fell foul of the weather in Ascot the last Saturday before Christmas. But he's 3.45 here. With 4 non-runners, takes the field down to 10. Interestingly, Birkenshop is 4.7, 8.4 Black Poppy, Soaring Glory, a former winner of the Betfair Hurl, is 12, 13 Peking Rose, Nina the Terrier, the mare in there, 13.5. Warranty is 17, and that's the horse I like in it for Caelan Quinn. Ex-Harry Whittington won at Plumpton in October, 9 lengths, a handicap hurdle off 110, and followed up in Warwick in November off 117. It's rated 124 now. Again, another decent £5 claimer is Caelan Quinn. And the only thing with the ground getting as bad as it's got, I'm not sure he's going to want it that deep. So it's just a tentative play here. Win only on the exchange, please. We're going to set our own price here. We're looking back at about 18. So if you click the back box and tick it up to 18, put in 25 quid and select that bet for us, it'll go over into the lay column. So we want someone to come in and lay us that.
I'd say this also surprised him slightly at the Moors, despite the fact he's won his last 2, because he was a big drifter, I remember, the last day when he won. And it was soft enough that day. This is the acid test for him, I suppose, but it's Gary. He's provided a 3-year-old to hose up in the second already. And this is an interesting chap. And
I think Made for You's won since as well, hasn't it, the horse he beat? I'm pretty sure.
Have a look at that. Yes, it has. All right, Barry's already on that one. Okay, we're warming up, guys, with T-minus hour and 15 away from the Grade 1 action here on Racing Post Live this afternoon. But here we've got a really interesting handicap. I like Picard. I thought he would win the Jerry Fielden. I'm still of that opinion, having watched it back as well. First Street runs, of course, tomorrow, doesn't he? The winner of that. He goes up in trip in the rail kill. This is a horse that I was with at Chepstow, and the form couldn't
Form's
work out
worked
much
out
better.
good, hasn't it? Yeah.
He was highly tried last year. Dan does this a bit, doesn't he?
Well, I think certainly with a horse that he thinks is maybe young or light of experience that he likes, he like you say, he tends to pitch them in very good novice hurdles and with the attitude of, hey, if we win, we're really in business right now, and if we don't, we're gaining valuable experience in the right sort of company, and we're going to have a second season novice with it all in front of them.
Are you with this chap?
No, but I do agree with that.
You made a great case for me.
I do agree with all that theory, as inside. Yeah.
I mean, short enough, isn't he? But I mean, Blenkinsop has shown his hand a bit. I mean, good to see Henry Daly having some progressive horses coming back out. He had a good winner, didn't he? With novice
Donny.
race.
Moon
Donny.
Hunter, yeah.
Yes, another one for British Pointing.
Yeah.
I saw your Twitter came alive after that.
And Alice Stevens has
Okay.
been riding a good few winners for him.
Has she? How did you get on Pointing the other day? You went, didn't you, Chaddesley Corbett?
Oh,
The
no,
Welsh
good.
took over, didn't they?
No, good couple of owner riders. There was a interesting day.
Oh, yeah, okay. A bit of jockey coaching needed, is it?
A lot.
Take more than jockey coaching.
And come coach Watford if they like them. They might find themselves a job there. What do we like then, Posty?
I like Blenkinsop, yeah.
Here we go. All right.
As in, Alice wanted him 3 starts ago at Ludlow, and he kind of ran an interesting race. Came from miles back, only just got up to beat Locke's Corner.
Well,
But
she came back in afterwards and said, "I tell you what, Governor, you've got to be back in this on
we've unleashed, we've unearthed
We've unleashed
yeah,
one.
Yeah, and
Because
he
he's
was
been very popular in the markets. Since he went into
very
handicaps,
impressive at
hasn't he?
Exeter last day, and he up £8. Hugh Nugent's a decent enough claimer, but Tom O'Brien back on board, I don't think it's a negative in any way, shape or form. And I think I agree with you that you could say that he's shown his hand, but I think he started from a lowly position, and I think there still could be manoeuvrability in this mark.
In the Fortescue colours, it's a project that I'm sticking with, despite from the fact in the Welsh National he didn't look like he really wanted to know at all. I wonder whether Hugh Nugent might be replaced on that through no fault.
I think it's his godfather, the owner, or
Is it?
something like that.
Yeah, okay. He's not on this, of course. Tom O'Brien takes this, who of course showed his hand, didn't he, in Grade 1 for Tom on Boxing Day.
Time Hill, yeah.
And do you know what? Like, it's in fair play. It was a cracking decision to put the cheap pieces on, and the horse. It's ironic. The horse that we were questioning his jumping before the race, and he was about the only one that did jump.
That winged them all.
And everything else fluffed its lines, and the fences got in the way.
Wouldn't have been the strongest addition, I don't think. Barry, your horse is being backed apparently. Is this going to get matched? That's the question the boys are asking in the gallery.
It doesn't look like it. It's into 14 now, so someone obviously fancies it. We can reassess, though, as we get closer to post time. They're only going down onto the track now, so we'll keep an eye on it. But your favourite's very strong at 3.65. Birkenstock's strong at 5.1, 7.6. Black Poppy's come in for support as well. So you'd think the others are going to have to drift. And whether they go out to 17.5 or 17, what price have we put
16,
in? We put it in at 18.
We're up to
Yeah,
16s on the exchange to lay now. 16.5.
Yeah, so he's sliding out because the ones that are ahead of the market are quite strong.
17.5.
Watch him brief.
The more you look down this list, I'll tell you what, I'm studying in on these prices as well. The more you look down, the more you think, yeah, Pickard probably about 5 to 2 shots. No, I wouldn't go any short than that. But Manny D likes him a great deal. Look, Manny, Happy New Year to you, my man. Can't see past Pickard here. Yeah, we're hoping we'll see some progressive sources. But Andy Sim is with Posty. Blenkinsop looks good. He's been an equine cash point for those of you that have been with him. Who else have we got before we go to Batch? Afternoon, Dave. Happy New Year, says Sam Caney. Sam, Happy New Year to you, old boy. We'll be back tomorrow. I know you'll be with us both days. Let us know where you're watching from, guys. Keep your resolutions for tomorrow's show, but we will be giving you our highlights. We'd like to hear from yours as well. We'd like to hear from you. What wins this race?
I'm a Blenkinsop fan, but I've got a couple of each waysies for this race.
Each waysies?
Yes, I've got Warranty.
You're with Batch?
Each way.
Barry?
And also Silent Revolution. I'm just interested that didn't like chasing debut at Newton Abbott, didn't jump a fence, finished behind Booth Hill. I think back over hurdles, and is quite an interesting price for Paul Nicholls' horse.
Absolutely whopping, isn't it? It's just whether it's just he has one on soft ground. I remember when he won that Huntington bumper at Christmas time around. Yeah, he is an interesting horse.
I just thought he was a big enough price for one of Nichols's.
Apparently, he picked up a bit of a knock after that race, so he's been on the sidelines. This is a start back from
a comeback.
Paul says on his blog, yeah.
But we saw with Red Alert, didn't we, in the Midland Park colours on that old Hennessy day. they can still win these big handicap with big prices. That was a whopping price and won like a good thing. Peking Rose is quite interesting. Won the introductory hurdle on the card. No, it was just too bad to be true last time.
And if you take that run out, then a definite player in this race.
Yeah, Soaring Glory's interesting as well, isn't he? First time up in trips. It just didn't. He's a fame and glory that didn't work out over fences.
Funnily enough, we didn't.
Ring that bell.
We didn't.
Okay.
Yeah,
we get matches. We're
matched.
Are we matched?
Well, hang on.
Yeah, we're matched.
Yeah,
the trade is matched. The warranty match is on. Okay, all right, great stuff. I'm with Picard. The lads are with Bleck and Sop as well.
In this game, patience.
Just a bit of patience, absolutely. As Kristen Williams knows all
take
about.
that, Ted.
While we've got a moment, can I give you a quote from Gary Moore? Very good. Gary
He's
Moore.
looking a bit mulish as well here at the start.
warranty,
Well, talking about this, I think Gary's got a few of them because he said after Jupiter de Gite.
Look at him. He doesn't want to know this fella.
Slam jet powered. Yeah, he didn't really want to know, but he said about
He
his
put
earlier
the brakes
3-year-old
on and
winner,
he's
guys.
sweating down his neck.
He said, I'm totally shell-shocked after the 3-year-old winner. The horse is cranky. He's mad in the head. So if you're talking...
You can't go the other way around the horse, the one that won the 3-year-old that won the Novice Hurdle.
Yeah, very
Because
interesting.
he has to go left-handed. He wouldn't go right-handed.
So Goshen's got to go right-handed. This one's got to go left-handed.
If Gary Moore says this is cranky, then this has got to be cranky.
It's proper cranky. Yeah, okay, all right. I'll tell you what, so you're going to get some great quotes coming up in your members section later on from Gary. It's fair to say he's very, very, very talkative after that race. Also, the Venetian winner earlier on was it Gamble.
This ain't going to go.
You don't think Warranty's going? I'm trying to fill here.
He's walked into the start in his last couple. Like last day as well in Warwick, he was like this. He had to be walked in.
He's off.
There he's away.
Who comes up
Here
with
we
the
go.
Joe Holden? Gary Moore loves the nutter. Yeah, Batch has been working for him for years, so you're quite right. And I'll tell you what, all of a sudden, what's the problem with Warranty? None whatsoever. He's on a hat-trick, and he soon finds himself in a share of the lead. Glyn is up there as well for the owners group, and also we've not heard a lot about recently. Coming back from 252-day layoff at Endos. Black Poppy, he's having a good season so far, isn't he? Very consistent, Osbrennan pal Kerry Lee in what you might call the box set. Looking back for fourth as I go through them for those without pictures. Moulin Clermont, yeah, he's in fourth. He's a bit keen. Peking Rose showing a bit more interest already this time. Nina the Terrier. Honestly, our tipsters have been all over this whenever it's been due to run. That's got a nice midfield sit. Soaring Glory, they're riding it to see it out. Bleck and Sop out the back. Well, and Picard sitting last of all with Silent Revolution. He's absolutely awash with sweat, this guy Warranty as well, isn't he?
Yeah, he is. Steady gallop, I'd say, that he's setting there. There's quite a few of these running keen. Picard's been a fraction. Bleck and Sop, Silent Revolution. The Gary Moore horse as well. There's been a few of them that are just running with the choke out early doors.
You know, new year, new change. I would tell you that horses were keen when I worked with you a couple of years ago, and you would say, what are you watching? And now you're saying horses are keen. I'm thinking, that's a bit harsh.
No.
I'll tell you what.
How the tables are turned.
It's a game of opinions.
What it is, a wind of change is in the air. Could it be that Charlie Poste is finally learning the game? On the inside.
New year, new me.
Absolutely. I wouldn't count on it, Fran. All right, okay, so very keen on the inside is Silent Revolution. This is definitely a comeback for him, isn't it? Bleck and Sop, yeah, that's fine as well. Did you think you'd be in front passing the stands on Warranty, Barry?
No, I didn't. But the instructions might be, if nothing's going on, happy to make it, because that's what they did with the 3-year-old that won the Novice Hurdle. They went on, they seemed to poach a soft lead, but he's getting grilled by Glyn and James Bowen up his inside here. He's not getting any soft lead, that's for sure. And they're going only a dawdling pace, aren't they?
Yeah, 28 miles per hour on the clock. We know what that means, regular viewers, don't we? But I'd say that Glyn is the one that is disliking it, don't we? I'd say that Glyn is the one that doesn't like it much. I think he's throwing his head about on his return to action. Black Poppy's got a good sit as well. Bleck and Sop then, guys. Give us a line on that. Just is this what he does?
Yes, but he's travelling strong, almost over strong. I'd love him to kind of just drop the bridle a little bit and just relax a bit more for Tom O'Brien.
Tell you what, when the money's down, all of a sudden you can tell whether the horse is keen or not, can't you? I think that's what we're really learning. Nina the Terrier catching my eye in the middle. Cawthorne Lad didn't see it out last time, but Soaring Glory hopefully going to be the bigger hope for the day, I'd imagine. The Betfair Hurdle winner, of course, a couple of seasons back, when a novice. It's not really gone to plan since. Again, it didn't work out over phasing. Now they're starting to get strung out a bit, guys. And if you're Harry Skelton on what they consider to be a very well handicapped picker, what are you thinking?
Well, I think he's kind of made his decision, hasn't he? That he's going to sit and wait. And what I would hate to see is people changing their mind and riding 2 races. So I think right now he has to stick with what he's decided to do and just be patient.
And it has been a dawdle batch, hasn't it? Because look at them, they're only just reaching that 30-mile benchmark that we look at. And Warranty's still in front. One of yours?
Yeah, he's just a bit clumsy over his
He won't
early
get
last
home.
couple, wouldn't it? And he's just slapping him
Warranty
down the
won't get
shoulder a
home.
bit.
Don't think he'll get home. What's the
No,
exchange saying? Yeah, well, I don't know. Could be. Anyway, what's this? Moulin Clermont's actually showing a bit more of a sudden for Gary as well. Now all of a sudden, yeah, Warranty's had a little think about it there. Black Poppy, probably the one the exchange. And Pekin Rose, this is better from him, Posty, isn't it?
Pekin Rose, yeah, as in slightly wide out on the track, which I don't think is the end of the world. Conditions look like they're worsening as we go through the races here at Newbury, and been pulled out wide, sort of moving into 5th position, and I'd say he's perfectly poised right now.
And Barry says $1 million to get home, but Caelan Quinn doesn't think so because he's actually ramped it up now finally, Batch, hasn't he?
That's a long way from home.
Every
as well
time he
to
sees
run
a hurdle, he gets spooked, doesn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah, Soren Glory coming
very
into
fluent,
it.
is
Now
he,
the
Barry?
closers, it's just Silent Revolution that looks maybe like he's feeling it slightly. That batch tip has sunk him. Okay, what do we got? Pekin Rose again, Nina the Terrier on the inside.
Black Poppy's travelled well throughout down the
Always
inside.
throughout,
He's had a perfect pitch for Brendan Powell, and like I say, hasn't really missed a beat with the jump in. And like I say, you're drawn to him the whole time. Nina the Terrier tracking him through.
Yeah, we're turning in then, and this third last is
Cobson's
crucial,
giving
isn't
this
it?
a peach to get the Preach Way money.
You think so?
Absolutely.
Oh, when
Peach
Batchy
Way
says
money.
that. Look, no, I'll tell you what, Warranty absolutely winged
Nina
that.
Terrier gone.
Nina Terrier, another fall, unfortunately.
Interfered with my each way.
Silent Revolution hasn't picked up a leg, unfortunately. Now they're attacking each other. Then it's just about. Is this the stablemate?
Yeah, Gary Moore.
At the moment, it's a one-time. Tell you what, whatever you do, Warranty's run an absolute blinder here. Glyn's still in there. The pace is standing up. Looking for Pickar. The visibility is poor, lads, because the fog has descended. Black Poppy's found absolutely nothing. I'll tell you what, this is going to be a Gary Moore 1-2, isn't it?
Bleckenstop still might have something to say
Bleckenstop,
about
Oh,
this.
it's the
Dave.
Bleckenstop!
Come on,
Coming
Tommy.
between runners. This is a great ride if he gets it up.
Come on,
We've got
Tommy.
split screen, that's even worse.
Yeah,
Go on,
just
TOB.
walk it there.
Warranty's
Go on,
still
TOB.
running in a blinder. Glyn is still there as well. What a big race on his return.
Go on, Tommy.
Here comes
Come on,
Tommy.
all of a sudden
Come on,
the
Tommy.
lads are in here.
Come on,
Come on,
Tommy.
Tommy. Get the trophy over here.
He's out of sight.
Where's the trophy?
Here we
This has
go.
gone clear.
Here
This has
we
got
go.
bundles in hand, doesn't it?
Yes.
This is on the running. I
You
there
thought
one
he was
still to jump.
exposed. You were wrong, Orton.
Oh, okay. Listen, all right. They love it when I get wrong. It looked like Moulin Clermont was second to my eyes. Very tough to see on the screen. I think that
Was Warranty third, was it?
Warranty was fourth, I think, in the end.
I think it was Bleckenstop first, the rest nowhere.
Oh, you got it. Alice Stevens
Yeah.
deserves an extra Christmas pudding from you,
Yeah.
didn't she?
Well, Henry Daly for sure, yeah.
Yeah, it's good to see Henry because, of course, he lost Hillcrest at the start of the season.
Also going great at the moment for them.
And that defied the pace bias barrier.
Yeah, it certainly did. He's a Betfair SP, second favourite. He's gone in at 4.59 a Betfair SP, blinking stop. Moulin Clermont traded at a low of even money. Outside of that, Glyn traded at a low of 3.35. Did that stay on again at the finish? Glyn?
Yeah, it did,
Yes.
yeah.
And Warranty. Yeah,
Yeah.
I think they've filled the places in behind as well. They both stayed on well up the straight. But, yeah, good shout, lads, in the studio. Charlie, wasn't it?
Yeah, and Batch as well, despite
Batch
the
had
fact,
3 selections
despite the
in
fact
the
he
race.
put in half the rest of the field as well, yeah.
Oh, I put a little couple of outsiders for a little each way.
You can't claim that.
Yeah, I'm claiming it.
Andy
It's the
Seaman
first
in
one
the
of the day,
chat.
I'm claiming it.
Good stuff. All right, loads of people out there watching in a minute. Let us know where you are, guys. We're an hour away from the Challow hurdle. Does Hermes Allen win? Yes or no is the question. Highlights of 2022 coming up as well for you. Barry's got a couple. I picked a couple out as well. It's hard to think back when you got a whole calendar year, isn't it? Not just the jumps and the flat and the previous jump season as well.
Yeah, exactly. I completely agree. It's your mind gets scrambled thinking of all the memories through the last 12 months.
Yeah, all right. But we want to hear from you. What are yours out there? And after the dust is settling on the 2022 Challow hurdle winner, will we see the Ballymore market shaken up? I'd imagine so. We will be able to talk about your highlights going through there as well. Who's having fun out there? That's what it's all about here on Racing Post, in association with Betfair as well. And there is the SP of Blenkinsop, the winning machine. Pickard was disappointing there, wasn't he?
Yeah, I didn't really even notice him, to be honest, as in when he sort of hooked onto the back of them, turned into the straight, and then with the fog or mist or something came down, it was hard to pick them
I
out.
would suggest that that's not really him. I would say Dan's have been running somewhat indifferently.
In and out, as in it's, considering it was like the Saturday man, wasn't it? It was every week another big race winner.
When you're hot, you're hot. And
then
when you're not.
who is it? I was talking to Nick Pearce, one of his sort of headmen, and he was laughing. And I think was it Boxing Day? I think a few of the early ones got sunk, and it was like, hang on a sec, they're all wrong. And then I think within 10 minutes they'd had across the card treble, you know.
Yeah,
so,
and they won a couple in between, didn't they?
But there is no doubt that there are a few of them performing below what they'd expect right now.
I thought Newbury Negra might have stayed on a bit longer as well. I know it's soft ground for him, but he cruising, and with Edwardstone not there, that was a missed opportunity probably. Eddie Jeep was good, wasn't he, Patch?
Yeah, very good. Yeah, great
They called
ride
him
from
a beast from Nile.
Great ride from Nye. He's had a good couple of weeks as well, and he's a good lad. He's got a couple of good lads in the yard. Gary, the fellow who won just rode Warranty,
Caelan Quinn, yeah.
Caelan Quinn, yeah.
I think he came from Warren Greytrex, isn't he?
Yeah, I know they think a lot of him, yeah.
You would never walk in that yard and call him by his first name, would you? You would straight
Quinny.
Quinn.
Quinny.
Get over here, Quinn.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
He probably done the right job leaving Warren Greytrex.
Well, there you go. Ooh, all right, steady on, Batch. That's, G-Rod's on holiday, thank God. Andy Sims says, boom! Come on! Oh, nice one, Andy. Have you got any multiples going today? What might be going on to the next at Warwick? We're 8 minutes away from a 3-mile handicap chase. They just love their war of attritions, don't they, at Warwick? Just hearing in my ear that Nina the Terrier and Sam Twiston Davis live to fight another day, which is great stuff. She's had a couple of pearlers, hasn't she? And whether she would have won is probably unlikely, but she was still going all right at the time. That was it second last.
Yeah, it's unfortunate that she is always an eye catcher, though, isn't she? And do you not think she's one of these horses that you keep that either she tips up or she seems to be building a profile of nearly.
Yes.
A bit of a cliff horse, that you keep getting sucked in.
There was about a 3-week period, but everyone told me she was going to win, and we had some abandonments. She was supposed to run all that sort of thing. Kingy told me in our watch up before Christmas that she might go fencing, so I imagine that will be on the cards. And she's tiny, terrier. Yeah. You're surprised by that?
Well, I'm not surprised. I mean, small horses can jump very well, but no, I was actually laughing. I was thinking, I'd say Tom Canning can't wait for the first school in the morning, and it's like, do you know what we're going to do with this horse? It's fallen twice in its last 4 starts over hurdles. That's the size of the table. We're going to jump the fences this morning.
We've got a row of 8 for you to go down.
There's no better man to send her on down to it, though, to be fair.
Is that right?
Oh, yeah.
It's when the Cannon pulls a seniority card, though, and says, look, let's get the young conditional out. Yeah.
The Cannon can blast them.
I don't think he will. He'll send it on down there. Cannon,
I'll stand alongside you, Governor. We'll see how she goes first time up.
Yeah, you get on it, King.
He rang me the other day, Cannon. I'd been schooling a novice chaser, and a couple of lads sort of refused to ride it, and it was on the Tuesday, just after the Tingle Creek. Old Tommy got on it, rode it round Taunton.
I thought you said you were going to ask you who you're going to call, like the Ghostbuster.
Yeah.
Old Batch comes down and has a go. All right, fair enough. All right, 3-mile handicap chase then, Barry. Let's try and get back on the winning trail. The boys are hot. Who have you got?
Yeah, so your favourites, Midnight Moss at 4.0, bang on 3 to 1, 5.4 Go Steady, 6.4 Smugglers Blues, 8.2 Gwent Silly Bearbass, 10 Cuban Pete. Man United must have scored or gone close because my 2 sons are roaring at the television downstairs. I can't hear myself think. I swear to God, I'm going to have to let a roar at them. I was liking Go Steady. One of these last time out in Lingfield and won it comprehensively. Again, Tristan Durrell for Dan Skelton. Well, I just think the ground could be gone against it now, so I'm just going to duck out of this. I'm not going to have a bet in it. I just thought it was these vets races. Sometimes I can't make head nor tails of them, and I'm just going to give this one a rest.
All right, sit out. That's absolutely right, and that's what we can do. Safe gambling, of course, but not just that. It's adjusting to the conditions, isn't it? We've got a lovely tool that's going to come up for you next year on this show. I can tell you that much. Where we're going to show you the going adjusters and all that sort of stuff. That's what we're hoping on. And you need them on a day like this.
You adjust to your conditions, well, don't you?
I do. Yeah. I do. Chameleon of a man.
You're adaptable.
I am.
Yeah.
You can put me anywhere.
Yeah.
And I would shine.
Yeah. It's like I said to Sam, the producer, when we were talking about people working together. I'm like salt. Go with anything.
Water. Get in where others can't. More to the point. Okay, yes, all right. So look, right, here we go. Oh yes, Marcus Rashford we're hearing scoring for United as well.
Is that off the
Much
bench?
to the
He was
delight
on
of
the
the young
bench today,
horse.
wasn't he?
Was he on the bench?
Rashford,
off the naughty step, John Bonfilm is telling me. So, all right, okay, there you go. Football's out there as well, absolutely. We're loving the game. Unless you're a Watford supporter. Right, okay, what have we got in this then? All right, Barry's sitting it out. Come on then, you're hot.
Midnight Boss for me, the favourite.
When in doubt, go with a fav, says Poste.
Well, it's not when in doubt. Second run back from a wind-up, which you've often trumpeted that is a thing that you like. Horse made a decent return at Doncaster. I think bumped into on Rocky's Treasure as well. He was seriously well handicapped that day on his back form. And
the Bailey horse.
Yeah. Oliver Green and Josh Guerrero have had a good season. I think Toby Wynn, again, is a decent young rider, son of Steve. You'd remember him from back in the day.
Steve Wynn?
Yeah.
What was I
Wynn, is it?
remembering
Well, you're
back in the day?
You're the elder statesman
I
in here.
can't believe that, looking at you two. I
remember Winnie.
Do you? Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, Batchelor, wouldn't he, of course?
I would, yeah.
All right, okay, because Carruthers won the Mandarin.
It's when we walked out the other day and they said, he's not even 40 yet. Rodway?
You are joking.
He does look a
No
bit
way.
older, the bear, doesn't he?
Yeah.
Stressful
He's not
old
even
life.
40.
Stressful old life, I'll tell you what.
He's
Absolutely.
younger than me.
That is, he had a very hard paper round, didn't he?
I tell you what, boy.
It must be all those power rankings saved him.
Yeah.
Turning him grey. Your favourite Batch.
Dear, oh dear.
All right, well, I do like one here, actually.
Go on.
You like the fact that Midnight Boss back on soft ground, not a problem.
I don't think so. I don't
one
think
on
it's
it.
all right. Yeah.
Toby Wynn on the Fav.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Toby Wynn is a young rider I like. Came from the British point-to-point ranks. Had a good year last season, and like I say, is base with Ollie and Josh, and I think he's done well this time round.
Okay, all right, I'll take that. Despite the fact that Barry's off goes steady, he looks solid enough at the second favourite.
I just worried about the trip for him. As in, I'm not sure
Is he
he's
a bit
won
of a
over this far.
bridle horse? He's a strong traveller,
Yeah,
isn't he?
like over 2.5, he does travel very well. Doesn't always find as much as you might expect. But
Despite the fact he won by 7.5 lengths handicap, I say he only put him up 4 last time, so perhaps he thinks that race fell apart. Gwensley Burbass for me.
Me too, yeah.
Ooh.
Yeah, I thought we won a bad run in the London National, probably a easier race, and they've got the blinkers on first time. And I do like the young rider, Philip Armstrong. I think
He's a character, and Philip Armstrong rides a lot of the Red Happy horses, doesn't he?
Well, the horse is a character of Philip Armstrong.
Oh, I don't know Philip Armstrong, so
That's what I thought. Sorry, just because you said about the last one that he rode, he said he's a character.
Yeah,
this horse. So I thought
you knew more about Philip than we did.
See, they put him on the characters because they put him on last quarter as well, didn't they?
Yeah.
First time blinkers. You'll remember Ryan McHugh stood in for Barry over Christmas. I think it was the day that Lon Press arrived on the scene at Exeter, and he won the marathon there, the Devon Marathon. It was a massive price for Ryan. This is an interesting horse. He tanked through the race at Sandown last time and didn't really go on with it. This sharper track will help him, I think. He's gone round well before. Spoke to David about this yesterday, and he said, yeah, it's up to him. He can quite easily go well at a price, and he has been backed. Gwen's silly. Some old favourites in this, of course, with it being a vets race.
You're a fan of the vets races?
Well. Yeah, absolutely. Not sure whether I have one at Cheltenham, probably not.
No.
I think once again, less is more.
personally, I think they should do a jockey's one over 40.
Over 40 grand to the winner.
If we make it a walkover, will you call it a day?
100% I will.
We've still got to get in that winner, haven't we? We've got to do it. Cuban Pete in here, of course. He's attracting a bit of support. The King's Wit, who seems to have lost his way, doesn't he, for Katie Woodacott, but Ben Godfrey would be one of the more experienced here, along with Alexander Thorne, who's on High Council. He's quite interesting, coming back for Gary Hamer. And Anil Supali agrees, look, with that. Timing, Anil. High Council each way. Hope it goes a bit better than Nickels and Dime last time for you, Anil. Smuggler's Blues is quite interesting because last time out Fowler is a course winner, and Finn Lambert is on. What do we know about Finny?
Not a lot, I'm
Based with
afraid.
Marjorie Tristan Davis, and again, typical of the riders there. They work hard, but they give him plenty of opportunities. He's a good lad, really good lad, nice positive rider as well.
All right, okay, good stuff. Barry, we're talking. What's the market saying? Go Steady obviously started off at around about 11 to 4, but they tend to do that, these Skelton horses. He continues to drift. As the favourite, what is he now?
11 to 4, 3.75, 7.4 Go Steady, Friendless, 6.6 Smuddler's Blue, money for that, 7.2 Gwensilly Bearbass, 8.6 Cuban Pete. He's been a bit of a springer in the market as well for Ned Fox.
Okay, thanks, Barry. Yeah, and all these young lads, Posty knows a lot about them. Just going back to Smuggler's Blues, see someone in the chat said it was a bit of an unlucky faller last time. That might be pushing it, guys, out there. Certainly Red, I think, was very strong at the line, but that was the race at Wincanton. I had to do the close-ups for that, and there is literally no visibility whatsoever, and more than half the field pulled up. And I'm like,
Was I in that? Was it which day was that? Was it?
no, it was the 1st of December. That so it was a weekday. I
Okay.
remember he
He
literally
runs later on,
emerged
doesn't
out
he?
the front.
Certainly, Red.
Does he?
I think he runs today, yeah.
Does he? All right,
They're
that's
off, guys.
my attention. But we are off and running, and Philip Armstrong has put the anchor down already on the keen going Gwensilly Barbass, and over the first we go. All the vets over. Cuban Pete definitely had a look at that. The King's Writ,
King's
to
Writ.
get on with it. He's gone right to the front. What's this in second? This is La
Yeah, Mulholland
Cava.
also.
Cavs and Nostra, probably some sort of mafioso reference there in the blinkers. A lot of headgear on show here. What's this in the back? Stamp Your Feet, the outside of the lot. Interesting for the Mitford Slades who do well in the point-to-points. Cuban Pete, have a look at the first. He's got nicely settled now in 4th place. The Fav, the Mossy for Posty. He's doing enough, isn't he? Here we go once again, finally knocking our heads against each other. I would suggest that's took keen hold.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. Well, do you agree or
No.
not? Yeah, all right. Okay, all right. Fair enough. All right. Despite the fact you thought Bleckenstock was losing it when your money was down on that.
I didn't. I just look. I'm trying to be impartial and just say what I feel.
Posty and impartiality. There we go. Must be a new year coming up. All right, High Council at the back there. Smugglers Blues, who attacked at that second last when falling at Wincanton last time. He's got a nice sit in the midfield. As I mentioned, Gwen City Burbus out the back as well, along with Go Steady, Barry Orr.
United are after scoring another, Dave. Midnight Moss 3.25, 8.4 Go Steady. Smugglers Blues is 6 Gwen Silly Bearbass.
Rashford again, Barry, for United. Do you want me to WhatsApp your sons and say, can you please keep it down? We've got some
Of course
business.
you would, because I'm using the phone. I can't.
Yeah, fair enough. All right. Listen, if you're listening, little oars, which you're obviously not. Dad's got a job to do it. Right, okay.
Cuban Pete just put down there at the fence.
And I noticed that the Moss has lost a position or two.
Yeah, he has. I mean, like these 5 fences down the back at Warwick come quickly, and he hasn't jumped badly, but he's just not found a slicker rhythm as some of the others in this race.
Yeah, definitely. I would agree that Toby Winners thought he's far too keen, and he's definitely putting him out the back. I think Toby knows. Toby knows, but what a leap that was! That's what you get in the vets, isn't it? They do.
King's Writ, yeah.
Some marvellous jumpers.
He is pricked as well. He's absolutely loving his job, isn't he?
He's
This 11-year-old.
thrown in on his old form. He won some big races.
Silly
this time.
Bearbass is loving it, isn't
Yeah,
he?
yeah,
Sweet.
Yeah, really nice.
Tell you what, he didn't half catch the eye at Sandown last time. He didn't see it out though, so I think they'll smuggle.
Bit
and then
different
try
from
and produce.
Sandown though, Dave, so it should be all right.
It should be all right. Okay,
Yeah.
happy days then. Yeah, see again, keep the faith back. You're on him as well, aren't
Yeah.
you? All right,
High
turning
Council
in.
just struggling a little bit early doors, detached a little bit off the back of them.
Okay, all right. Yeah, High Council first run for 90 days. And he's jumping deliberately. I think we can say that. This will be second, 2 out.
They're going to the last for the circuit to go.
Now, interesting. All of a sudden, King's Writ has been taken on a bit by Cuban Pete.
Cuban Pete's running in snatches a bit, isn't he? Because he had to be chased away from the start and by Ned Fox, and then he was kind of up there, slotted back a little bit,
Yeah.
racing a bit sulkily. He is sort of backwards, but he kind of, like I say, he's getting up to them and he's sort of going forward all of a sudden now. It'll be interesting when they turn away to see whether that dampens his enthusiasm.
Cuban Pete could be called Black Eyed Peas, couldn't he? Because he's had a lot of pulled up next to him. So it's PPPPP in his form. But no, he's on a bit of a going day here. Sometimes these horses, when they get into vets company as well, they do seem to find it a bit easier, don't they?
Yeah, and some of them, you'll see some of these older, as Posty just said, they run in snatches, they're in and out. But I do like the way we're travelling, Dave.
Oh, yes, indeed. Just keep popping him up, Philip, and we're
Yes.
picking him off one by one.
You'll notice with Cuban Pete, though, he keeps putting down his fences. Ned Fox keeps trying to ask him to come up big, and he keeps slotting in and taking one out again.
Yeah, all right. So over the next we do go. And again, just sort of all right gallop, isn't it? But the King's Wit just jumping absolutely superbly, isn't he? But here we go.
Midnight
we're
Moss
creeping.
travelling.
Oh,
Smugglers
look at
Blues,
this.
maybe remembering that fall last time. I'm not sure he's absolutely loving life. Where's the Moss? He's in third now all of a sudden. He's almost covered every position, hasn't he?
Yeah, I mean, he's had a taste of it all. So, yeah, I mean, hopefully we'll get the one slot before long. Gwen Silly Burbas travelling really well and Go Steady creeping into it with Tristan Durrell.
Okay, all right. So he's making his way through. Would it be one better than Farmer's Gamble?
Stamp
in the
your
last
feet
for
on the
Tristan?
outside, travelling all right as well.
Right, all right, definitely High Council. You can put another 3 zeros on him. I think he might be
Yeah,
getting a
that'd be
Cuban
pulled
Pete
up.
next to
He
his
wants
name.
to pull that up.
Look
Finn
at
Lambert
Smugglers
just
Blues.
switched Smugglers
Yes.
Blues very wide down the hill. He's not really gone with a load of purpose, and maybe he's trying to get out on some fresher ground to see if he can get him travelling.
That's a good move, isn't it? And Go Steady continuing to catch the eye now. He's going into it. I'll tell you what, this would be sod's law, wouldn't it? Barry was going to put this up as a trade. Didn't fancy him on the ground. But as at the moment, I've said he can be a bit of a bridle horse, this, but he comes into it off a win. Huge win last time out as well. I'll tell you what, we keep catching the eye, Batchy.
I just want him to hold on to it. It's still a long way to go.
This will count for plenty, though, these 5 fences.
Yeah.
And all of
See
a
if he can find
sudden,
rhythm.
Ben Godfrey, the experienced Ben Godfrey amongst these lads, now starting to wind it up. He must be feeling really good on the King's Writ, who, like I say, was a near 140 horse as his best, marker 115 today.
And certainly on the front end here, like you go and wing the first like Ben Godfrey has there, and it puts them all on the back foot. You know, if he can keep pressing down
Yeah.
here and taking a length out of the field, it's a big bonus, and you're filling up all the time for the long turn to home.
And all of a sudden, that change of pace has found out Cuban Pete.
Dave, this is ours, I'm telling you.
We switched off the inside.
We switched off the
Give me a heart attack there, Batchelor.
Not yet, Philip.
Come on, not yet, Philip. Not yet.
Oh,
Oh, no, and
Philip.
he's just got it. Just quietly, Philip. Quietly. Look at Tristan Dorrell. He thinks he's on Frankel all of a sudden, doesn't he? Look at him. He's coming absolutely winging it. So there's 4 basically at the business end we're going to be expecting here, guys. Cuban Pete looks booked for 5th at best as they start to go away. Now, this is what we don't want to see on Gwensilly Burbas, because he's obviously having a bit of a think about it, but he winged that one.
Yeah.
I think you'd have loved him to stay where he was.
Keep sitting, and all of a sudden, he could be in for a bit of a rollicking. Go steady now, starting to flounder on the ground. Was Barry right? Looks that way. 2 in contention, and one of us Posties.
Come on, Toby Wynn. Nice and patient. Get over the second last, and then put the race to bed.
Not too far, Horosky would be shouting.
As far
wouldn't
as
he,
you
at this
like,
point?
Toby.
Look at okay, a reverse Horosky. There's an image. All right, okay, coming to you. Is this 2 out then?
2 out.
2 out it is then. All right, the King's Wit. Oh, he paddled it when he got under pressure as well. He's run a blinder, isn't he? But he's definitely come into one here. You favourite backers
Toby,
out
switch
there.
over now.
All you
Switch
need,
over,
heart
take
in
the
mouth
inner,
coming
take
up
the
at the
inner.
last. This is going to be a quick fire double. Posty, and over he goes.
Good man.
I'll tell you
Come
what, he's paddling
Get on the
all of a
inner,
sudden.
get on the inner.
He's hanging.
Come on,
It must
Toby.
be the King's Wit
Come
coming
on,
back.
Toby.
This is an absolute
Come on, Toby.
barnstormer finish.
No, come on,
He's keeping
Toby.
it up. He's got the rail.
Come on,
He's had a bit
Toby.
of think
Good
about it.
man.
You can see why the cheek pieces are on.
Go on,
King's
Toby.
Wit, what a blinder. He has run. He's closing all the
Go
way
on,
to the
Toby.
line. Oh no, the line is
Go
going
on,
Yes!
Toby. Woo!
Insufferable he's going to be now.
Let's
He's on a
have the
hat-trick.
trophy over here. Go on, you.
Goodness me, Barry. It looked like it was going to be an easy 101er coming to the last. What a finish. He got up, didn't he?
He's got up. Of
didn't
course he has. Stayed. Of course he has.
To the market.
Oh!
3-3 the King's Wit.
Oh no, we could have celebrated
7-1
prematurely.
on the King's Wit in the photo. 7-1 on.
Oh.
Wow. You've been gubbed.
Oh,
This side has to favour the King's Wit on the stand.
oh, never.
He's been gubbed.
Oh,
as
you
far
love this,
as you
don't
want,
you?
Toby. I'll tell you what, the afternoon's just got a little pep in its step, hasn't it? Look at this. This is the King's Wit. I mean, if he has got back up, my lord, what an exhibition that was. He schooled them for a lot of the fences. It's tricky track to jump. Those 5 on the far side.
Mighty Moss, there was over $6,000 traded on Mighty Moss at 101 on.
He's won. Oh yeah, the King's Writ.
I was going to say 5 of that was Posties, I think.
He's gone too early, Toby.
He can afford it.
Toby.
Yeah, I told
Toby,
you, didn't I?
Toby.
Not too far, Toby, not too far. And he's definitely had to think about it, Batch, after last. And we let Posty recover his poise.
No, yeah, he's idle, hasn't he? Badly, yeah.
Yeah, well, these vets, they can do it. I mean, he must have thought to himself, aye, off we go. I've got the Christmas money in the bank here, and over he goes. And the King's Wit was 2 out when the winner put some pressure on him. He actually was his worst jump of all. And what a response he's got out of him, the 11-year-old. That is his first
Traded
winner.
at a high of 260 the King's Wit for £7.
Even here, he's a good length and a bit up.
Barry, for a front runner, that would be very unusual, wouldn't it?
He looks like.
Yeah, well, when he's gone by him, it looked all over, didn't it? Obviously, he traded at 101 on the runner-up, but like you say, he's idle. He wears those cheap pieces for a reason, and he's given the eventual winner another bite at the cherry, and he's needed all that from the last to get there. What a great treat there after serving us up those old Warriors.
Yeah, great stuff,
Brilliant
absolutely.
race.
And you were right about Go Steady, Barry. He ran his race, didn't he? But he got sunk.
Yeah, the ground, and yeah, he probably just doesn't truly get 3 mile, and definitely not in that ground, anyway.
It's his first win, the old boy, since this month in 2018 when he competed off a 9-power high up mark. And good to see the Woolacotts having a Christmas winner. All right, great stuff. We've got to get back to Newbury, of course. What have we got coming up next? Oh, it's the Mandarin.
Mandarin.
The Mandarin. Now, when you won the Hennessy, they gave you your weight in the liquor, didn't they? What did you get for winning the Mandarin? Load of fruit?
Yeah, load of fruit, load of mandarins.
Which of course you gave
mandarins,
to, which of course you gave to Carruthers. Before we go to Barry and see what the market is saying in the next, there's your Betfair SP. Look at that, the rag of the lot. Get it all in on Race Post Live, don't you? Okay, he's improving, and Henry fancied him. This is, you can imagine who I'm talking about here, can't you? Let's go back to past glories for you, shall we?
Yeah.
I rode him like I had a lot of faith in him, which he did, going wide and a few lengths back. We didn't go quick early. We saw that, absolutely. Tom O'Brien says, but he's absolutely flying. As are Henry's horses, and he's a very astute placer. He says of Henry, he's going to get the ride again next time, isn't he? So he gets some. There could be a lot more to come from him. Would you see him as a? I mean, are we thinking Coral Cup now?
What did he win off there today?
120 something.
128, something like that, was it?
He's going to the
Go up.
periphery, isn't he?
Oh no, it's 123. 123 today.
He needs to go up a bit more than you say.
He probably got 7
got
today,
7,
130. He's still going to need to go up a bit more than that to guarantee.
He's going to win again, isn't he?
The way he won there, you would have thought so, yeah.
The pace was against him as a hold-up. I was talking about Blenkinsop basically in the last race at I don't know. I don't know whether we win it or not. It's probably an impossibility, isn't it? We know what's coming over the sea. But
is he EBF qualified? Is he still novice?
good question. I mean, you're asking me all these questions. I've only got one set of hands, mate. It's not like me asking you about a conditional jockey. You're not the encyclopedia of that, aren't you?
Ah.
Oh, certainly Red was supposed to run in this. Don't run.
What was?
Certainly Red.
Oh, okay. There you go. So the ground was against him. Yeah, no, all right. Hang on. I'm just looking. We're looking at Blenkinsop, guys, because we're doing this thing that Bruce Millington hates. I'm getting the programme book out. Is he EBF qualified? No. Bear with me.
In his novice hurdles earlier on this year.
That's a no. And what about the one at Exeter? No. Astute placer. Right. Well, we've got a very progressive horse there. And are we going through the card? But not quite, are we? You nearly made it that we were going through the card.
Yeah.
You've let the side down.
I know. I actually feel really disappointed, to be honest.
Dramatically.
Dear.
It will take me a while to gather myself back.
It's all kicking off, but we can get it back in the Mandarin, can't we, Barry? Or what's the play?
Yeah, so Lashkallen is your 4.7 favourite, 9 under supervision, Toll for Cole, 8-2, 8-6 Group Charlie, 9-6 Killer Kane, 13 Bar. There's 3 non-runners in the race. Additional places still on the Betfair Sportsbook to each way punters. I'm going to throw a dart here on Fagan, ex-Gordon Elliott runner. Went off 7-1 favourite in his last run for Gordon Elliott for the Carroll Scottish National. Hasn't really reached the dizzy heights that he did with Elliott for his current trainer. But I think he ran in the Beaches Chase in early December. Now, he ran no sort of race. He was beaten over 40 lengths. But back in Warwick last November, behind Final Nudge, he ran all right off 138. He's rated 134 now. It's a workable mark for him. And Harry Cobden has got the ride, which I thought was a really interesting jockey booking here. So we're just going to throw a dart. I'm not going to back it win. I'm going to back it 4 places. Hopefully, you can sneak into a place. Actually, we'll back it win and place.
Okay.
We're going to have 20. We're going to have a tenner on the win, where it's currently trading at 65. I think. Yeah.
It's into 46 here on the computer in front of me.
All right. Okay. Well, just be a price taker here.
Yeah.
We'll take the 50. Take the 50, and then in the place market, 4 places at 8.2. We'll have 15 quid on there as well.
Let's hope he picks a few pockets for you, Barry.
Oh, you've been waiting for that one, have you?
You say a tenner in the place market, Barry, as well?
Yes, please. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm looking for Harry Cobden's had 6 rides for Alex Hales, 1 winner. So he's a guy that they don't use all that much, but certainly when they're fancied. Interesting stuff. There's a Junkanoo moment, that's for sure. A lot of this is the Mandarin, isn't it? I thought under supervision after his interesting return at Cheltenham was the one to be with here. What could hopefully spark up a big 24 hours for Tristan Davis stable. And Michael 136, he's the same. He only got going at the end there. If he stays in contention, if he's there jumping the cross fence, get it ready.
Yeah.
I'm loving that. Posty?
Do you think the track might suit him a bit better as well?
Hopefully.
Find some more rhythm.
I think the cheek pieces had a lot to do with it. I think he looked like a horse that wasn't interested for a lot of that run. He'll go high in the run, I imagine, and then come with a wet sail.
Okay, now with Killer Kane. He's only a pound higher, I think, than his last winning mark. I mean, obviously he's never been over this sort of trip before, but I thought it might well suit him. And yeah, he's a very expensive purchase, probably been a bit of an underachiever, but he ran all right behind Zanza. I was working that day here.
Yeah, I remember.
Zanza, that quirky character, kind of bolted up, and he wasn't beat far behind the place horses in 4th.
He tried to lead that day and was a little bit keen. Can we agree on that?
Yeah.
All right, okay. Batch, Mandarin. Your race, my boy.
Like Challow for Cole, step up in trip. Jamie Snowden horse is running well. But I'm sticking with the favourite, ex-French winner. Returned and was very impressive success at Ludlow. And I just think on this ground, Phoenicia and Deutsche, I'm going to stick with the favourite, Dave.
Beat a horse called Tide Times, who's a bit of a character but loves Ludlow, and he saw him off readily that day.
Another of the Ian Williams, one of the few that's actually ran all right.
Yeah, the grey. I've done a few quid on him, I can tell you that much. Have we got some socials out there? I'm imagining we have, because Sam Hart's in my ear. Let's get him up. Hugh Masson comes in. Happy New Year. It's about to go off. Lascalen, you're with Batch. Lots in her favour. Lots in his favour. Neil Francis, my highlights are obvious. We'll get to this. All right, Neil, highlights coming in. I love it. Aplutide in the Gold Cup. Woo! And Desert Crown in the Derby. I wonder if we're going to reference one of them a little bit later on. Neil, Happy New Year to you. Hugh, you as well. Stick with us, guys. We'd love to have you every week. Let's get some more socials in. Come on, ramp them up. We've got, 35 minutes only till the Challow. We'll be popping back for another at Warwick. Oh, no, we're going to the Sand, aren't we? Bit of evidence.
Lingfield, yeah.
Forgot about that. We're going back to Lingfield as well. All right, the flag is up. Barry, any moves? There's a couple for Killer Kane as I'm looking.
11.576 Killer Kane. Yeah, he's relatively strong, but Charlie Joyce's meant best is strong at the head of the market at 7-2.
Thanks then, Barry. As off we go then, and already needing a shove was number 15. I saw that was Foxborough. Barry, I was just looking. Geroid Harney. I don't know much about him. Do you know anything about him?
Been riding a few winners. Actually coached him. He was working for Ollie Murphy. And
Is there anyone you haven't coached?
He's moved down and turned back to an amateur to ride for Sid Hosey, and he's ridden 4 or 5 winners. Had a winner at Kelso the other day for Rose Dobbin.
Do you update your notes after every ride? It must be really entertaining at your house. I'll tell you what, 8 o'clock. Fran, would you mind getting a sherry? I've got to open the Riders Annual. It's unbelievable knowledge, really. I'm taking the mickey, but it's silly.
Impressive.
Really. If you've been looking at Paul Keeley's Sizzlers, he said could be ridiculously handicapped. Tom O'Brien, of course, on a quick double at Newbury. Kaluki on the inside had jumping problems. He's on the inside, and could he yet be a stayer with something to offer? But it's Lascalen. Had a little bit of look at that one, Batch, did he?
He just put down on Deutsche. Deutsche saw one and he said, no, I'm going in short, so nothing to worry about.
And they're on a double as well, the Venetia stable, aren't they?
Kaluki has the back class, doesn't he? Has he won round here before as well?
He was second to Next Destination in a novice chase.
Good race, yeah.
That was a good race. I think he took all the fences in the home straight with him and still finished second.
Yeah.
He hasn't really gone. Tallow for Cole Batch. How's he going? He's a couple of lengths detached at the moment.
Yeah, he's a bit far back than you'd like him to be, I would have thought.
Yeah, it's not.
And
Gavin
he's just niggling
Sheehan's
a little
style,
bit, Sheehan, yeah.
Yeah, he was prominent last time he won, and Gav is a jockey you sort of like Tom Scooter, you often see him up there, don't you?
And I don't think they're going that quick. They're going a sensible pace.
And that's the second favourite, and the mud is finally flying on the chase course at Newbury. All right, is this the cross fence?
Yeah, Shanty leads him into the cross fence for Ben Case.
Okay, all right, Barry, we're 5 out next time round. What's the market like?
4.1 now, your favourite. He's really strong. Obviously, he's getting a clear side of everything up front. Under supervision is 6. 7.6 Grumpy Charlie travels well. Killer Kane up there as well. 6.4.
I've been mad keen on under supervision, Barry. Keep an eye on him on the exchange, because last time at Cheltenham when I put him up, when he came back, he was out the back. He was not looking happy at all, and he really, really stormed home. So I'm loving the fact that he's a bit more excited about racing today here, I think. And
the old grey horse seems to be enjoying it a bit more.
Hang
on. Looks
on.
like he's about to take it up, Fagan.
Hang on, Harry Cobb's on this. Well, I'll tell you what, this is very interesting. This is also, long distance form and stuff. And again, Batch, a difference of opinion with the riders Champagne Court going wide as well.
Yeah, it's all about opinions. Deutsche stand down the inner. He's already had a winner, so.
Looking for Grumpy Charlie, chaps. Again, amazing we didn't get a pun in about that pre-race Posty, but he loves Newbury, this guy, doesn't he? I'm just looking for his form figures, 5-1-3, and he was pulled up last time, but the money came for him this morning.
Yeah, I mean, Chris Honor in his comments, he speaks pretty kindly about him. So, they said they were thinking about the Welsh national, thought it might be a step too far at this stage, but, needed his return at Bangor and teed up for this.
Yeah, he's had excuses at the festival last spring, but he was good enough to go there, and there's always money around for him when he's firing at home. Looking for a couple out the back as well. What's Brian Carver like to coach?
Never coached him. Has rode a winner for us, though. One on Gary Claremont for his round Bangor in a point-to-point.
Oh, there you go. All right, okay. So, again, somehow you still know him. Tallow for Cole does not look happy at all, guys, does he? There's something else at the back as well. Is that Val Sheeder as well for Warren Greatrix, Tom Scudamore? That's a Val Sheeder.
First run for the yard. Or is it second? Yeah, first run for the yard.
The Henderson horse.
Yeah, disappointed for Henderson last time.
When they find out, they said, that's it, you're out.
You're out.
Wow, I didn't realise that. And again, he's hating life, isn't he, I think, at the moment.
Is that the Cole Harden colours, though?
Yeah, it is. Yeah. For the Great Trixes, of course. Yeah. I'll tell you what, Keith Melrose's horse to follow, that was. this season in the big jump off, Galshida.
Lascallon just took a little bit of a chance of the first one down the back there. Charlie Deutsch leading him down the inside.
Is there a little bit of sweat on Lascallon as well? He's not very big, Lascallon.
I wouldn't worry too much about that today. Like,
Do you know what?
It's warm.
He's very good in deep, Poste. I don't think he's not got a lot of scope.
Well, he doesn't look the biggest, does he?
No,
Like
he don't.
Shanti Ali alongside him is
And
absolutely
when Charlie asked him up
dwarfing.
early doors, he put down, but he's economical, gets from A to B, and
Now Challow for Cold is starting to enjoy himself a bit more, as my under supervision didn't really enjoy. This is the flat spot if he's not hit it yet, I think he's going to. Killer Kane settled better for my money this time, Posty.
Yeah, he's found good rhythm. You know, he's been in a good pitch throughout from Brendan Powell. He sort of was nearly upsides in front as they turned away. It's just taken a lead again off of Lascallon and Shanti Ali as they nearly complete the end of the back straight at Newbury.
And all the way wide, he's almost in Slough at the moment, is Champagne Court. And he's got old Fagan out there as well, who's just a little bit of a look at that, Fagan.
so you just coming off it now.
Yeah, this is where you've got to be in a rhythm, isn't it?
Challow
If you get out of a rhythm on this sort of ground, lads, you're in a lot of trouble. So now we are approaching, for the final time then, at Newbury this afternoon, the cross fence. Actually, we've got a chase to finish this off, haven't we? All right, great stuff. All right. Tell you what, Fagan's coming back in, Barry. Any chance?
Hard to say it, Dave, isn't it, against these? Your favourite still travels well at 3.5, Lascallon. Under supervision is into 6.2. Grumpy Charlie, 5.5, 6.6. Shanti Ali, they're all there, aren't they?
Yeah, Lascallon whacked that one, as you heard from Batchy there. Under supervision is as close as I wanted him to be. Killer Kane's still there. Will he see it out? Grumpy Charlie, you can see why the money came. And Shanti Ali really giving Conor O'Farrell a great run for Ben Case, isn't he? The two of them going and they're pouring it on. They're really getting the rest of them out of the comfort zones, that's for sure. Deutschie's still there then. You can sense Batchy. I'll tell you what, Killer Kane's filling his lungs again. But the two are around about 5 lengths clear at this point. Here we are, fallout. And Shanti Ali had a good old think about that one. That's given the others a chance, I'd say, lads. Fagan's unfortunately going out the back of the telly. Let's have a look at a couple of the others. Killer Kane's still in there. Grumpy Charlie under supervision all the way on the inside. Probably not the place to be for him. He's sunk. 2 out.
Come on, Deutsche!
Grumpy Charlie's your favourite.
Yeah, have they gone too soon, Posty? That's the question.
Potentially, but I mean, Shanti Ali has travelled strongly throughout, jumped really well. He's the one they've all got to get by as they jump the second last.
And it's a deceptively quick run in this. Killer Kane is trying, is desperate to get him. All of a sudden, Lascallon now paying for those early exertions, and again sticking on the inside. So 2 now all of a sudden. Shanti Ali's still there. It's all on this jump. Grumpy Charlie comes up best. Brian Carver then, not just a winner for Posty. He's riding. He's going to do it in the Mandarin as well. Unless he's having a little think about it. This guy's now going to be second win of... I'll tell you what, Shanti Ali's trying desperately, isn't he? Brian Carver shuts the door on the inside. Yeah, that won't matter if you're fast past the post. And he does it in dour fashion. Shanti Ali, the 2 came well clear of. Lascallon, who's clung on for third. Killer Kane didn't quite get home in fourth. Can't see the rest, Barry Orr.
Yeah, good bit of race riding there after jumping the last Brian Carver. The way he shut that door, there's no way he was getting up his inside Conor O'Farrell. Shanti Ali traded at a low of 1.57, so around 15 to 8 on. Killer Kane traded at a low in running of 3 to 1, and also we had trade short in running. What was the other one that was there? Lascallon traded at 2.22, so under 5 to 4 in running. But Grumpy Charlie, game winner, Betfair SP of 10.0, bang on 9 to 1.
There you go. Okay, good stuff. So 2 more races to come from Newbury and the Mandarin.
Good for Chris. I know, nice fella, isn't he?
Yeah.
I know. I really don't know much about him. Small yard, isn't it? But these colours you see, this would definitely be his best horse he's had for quite a while. It's actually hardly tried as a novice from memory. Let me go down and have a little look.
What was the other one he had that was...
What, himself? Or I mean, he rode that nice horse that they had with Pipe, didn't they?
Yes.
The same owners had with David Pipe at one stage.
He ran in the Supreme in 2021.
Grumpy Charlie.
Yeah, it was. I mean, he's beaten out of sight by Appreciate It, like most horses were. But he went on into a massive role. Didn't he? Obviously loves heavy ground.
I think he's a pretty astute trainer, shrewd training.
He's only 7. You could go back to Welsh National, couldn't you, next year?
Yeah, you could. I mean, but a good decision to bypass it and come for this and picked out a decent prize here.
135, going to be a 140 horse now. Could even be looking at a Coral Gold Cup a little bit later on.
I mean, you'd think he'd go for Grand National Trial at Haydock after this. You know, those sort of races.
Chase.
Yeah.
Yeah, all right, okay. So we've seen a nice horse there, and I'll tell you what, it's testing old stuff, isn't it? Very much. Will that suit Hermes Allen coming up in 25 minutes?
Did we get a report on the ground from James? Did they change the going?
They just said soft ground, but you have to think, because our reporters will give us one after the first. Yeah. That's usually what you do. You put it in your little box there, and you'll get that when you're reading the analysis of the first race at every meeting. And, according to the jockeys, this. But as the races are officially changed, and I haven't seen anything, let me go and check that, you will get it as well. But nothing from James coming in yet.
All the times would suggest that they're all slow.
You wonder how much water they've put on the track this autumn as well.
For the autumn, yeah. A tough period, isn't it? Like, who would be a clerk of the course?
Yeah, absolutely. A horrible, horrible time to be doing that. It's heavy, basically, everywhere else, isn't it? All right, so look, we've got to get to Lingfield because no worries about the ground there. It is polytrack, and interesting race coming up here. I think we've got a good thing here, Barry. It's good to see Tom the Pom come back from a stint in Japan.
Yeah, Morgan Ferry 2.44, so a 6-4 chance. Has been backed at a high of 4.1. So, he's been really well supported. 4.8 Jilly Cooper, Wadacre Grace 5.6, and a 10.5 bar. I like Wadacre Grace in it for Charlie Johnson. Charlie and Mark Johnson at the moment, but soon to be just Charlie Johnson. He's sure to be up with the pace. His second behind Miss Britain and Subtle in earlier this month was looked a decent enough effort. It's his first time now trying to polytrack in Lingfield, but there's nothing to suggest that he won't enjoy that surface. He's a decent win in Newcastle over 7 furlongs back in September earlier in September this year with Brandy Norton. So it wasn't a race where I had a very strong opinion. So we're just going to have 25 quid win, please. Wadacre Grace. Again, happy to be a price taker of 5.8. This
was circling around about the 7-4 mark at one point as you thought they were going to try and get it, Barry, I think, this Fav. But Waldacre, yeah, he's, again, a 1 or 2 for Charlie. And Mark Johnson, soon to be just Charlie Johnson, of course.
Yeah, I mean, Mark made comments that he didn't think it had gone that kind of well as the joint licence, which was interesting, wasn't it, really? Yeah. So, I mean, you kind of get the impression that the operation has moved along with them together for an awfully long time, but maybe he just feels that someone should have the name to it themselves, you know?
There's a couple of good 2-year-old fillies, didn't they, from memory? But
yeah, they won the Group 1 in France at the end.
Of course. There was a Group 1, wasn't there?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's interesting. It's interesting. I think it's just, and Charlie's obviously been waiting around to do it, yeah. But Braveheart.
Well, it sounds like he's just going to be assistant trainer.
It just sounds like it's just a BHA thing, isn't it?
Same, but different.
Yeah.
I thought the interest with Wadacre Grace was there's not a lot of pace in this.
You thought he might go on and nick it?
Yeah, potentially.
Morgan Ferry is a horse that has relied on a good clip in the past, although only a 3-year-old, and we know a good bit about her. This is the slowest final furlong in racing, this.
Yeah.
And she'll love it, I think. If she repeats her third in the London Mile final, this is surely going to be good.
I'm with her as well. I mean, even when you go back to the beating of State Occasion at Newbury back earlier this season.
Your worry is a stop-start race, isn't it?
Yeah.
You've won around here, Batch. What's going to take this?
Oh, I'm with Jilly Cooper because I love her books.
There's a great reasoning there, Batch.
No, she's won over 7 furlongs. It looks like she really didn't stay last time, but Lingfield an easier mile.
You must have met Jilly Cooper before, have you? She loves jockeys.
No, Linda LaPlante I met. Do you remember Linda LaPlante?
I do. Where did that come from?
She read many books.
Yeah.
Series,
Linda LaPlante, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
She had a very good horse that went off favourite for the Triumph with Gary Moore.
Right.
Called Supply and Demand, one of her books and series, yes.
Never met Jilly Cooper, though. It would be the sort of character you've met.
Me?
He's trained her, yeah.
No.
What, Jilly Cooper?
Never met her.
She's always racing, though, isn't she? She used to go racing all the time.
She might have done, but
she's very point-to-pointy, I think.
Really?
So I'm looking at you.
Well, you can point her out to me next time we're there.
Oh, well, there you are. All right, that's on, by the way. How's the Waterfalls filly going?
Oh,
are we all going to have a day out there point-to-points then?
We've got to do it, and we get the cameras out there. Yeah.
Somewhere near Poste. We got to Posties in the morning. I'll do a bit of schooling.
I'll take you for a bit of breakfast or something.
Lovely.
Keep your strength up.
You need it.
Yeah. Can I have a bit of a school in the morning as well?
Yeah, 100%.
Oh, there you go. We'll go down to one of the local tracks, shall we?
Yeah.
And you can try and go through the card for us.
I mean, that might be difficult.
And the Workforce filly will win, right?
That she'll win, yeah.
Well, don't worry, guys. We'll let you know when this is
going to happen. And we won't worry about the rest of the card if she wins.
We love our pointing.
We'll just go straight to the pub afterwards.
We'll be in the tent.
Yeah. Are they pointing tomorrow?
We're pointing today and tomorrow.
Today and tomorrow, yeah. I wouldn't bother. It's a
Horse
strong
Heath
sphere,
today,
isn't it?
Larkhill
And
tomorrow.
the rain is finally coming.
The rain is here, yeah.
Great stuff. All right, so that's well and truly alive after a couple of tricky years, both here and across the Irish Sea as well. All right, you're with Jilly Cooper, William Buick, 200 winners for the year. You know, I saw someone saying the other day, considering there is the one meeting rule, that's pretty impressive stuff. And he had racked up a lot of sequences, didn't he?
Yeah, I mean, he's had a fantastic year.
Showed himself at the Breeders' Cup. over the
Deservedly.
years.
So who's going to win it next year?
Your man comes back, Oisin, our friend, indeed, in February, of course, isn't it? Latter February, I think he's chomping
How would they
at the
price
bit.
that up, the Jockey's Championship?
Good question. That's one for Barry, I'd imagine.
Buick could be favourite
Yeah.
all day long.
Yeah, I think he'll win it again, Buick.
He's a lot of. I mean, Oisin, you know, he gets a lot of outside support. Obviously, it'd be interesting to see. Well, I'm sure it'd be the same.
Doesn't Oisin always say you have to see how it goes, and after a while, then you make a decision whether you're going to go for it or not. Whereas, you know, I don't know. Will he be as well supported as he has been previously coming back this time? Remains to be seen. It's another conversation.
He'll probably start off as a slow burner, and then
If he starts banging in the winners, I think all will be forgotten.
as soon as he starts banging in winners, everyone will be.
Yeah.
Buick could be odds on. Anyway, there's no betting on it at the moment, but
He
Buick
will
could be odds on.
Yeah, he has to be, doesn't he? And of course, it'll be interesting. I mean, now he's won it once. He's probably got the taste. But when you've got that, you know, the job for the boys in blue, you can often be elsewhere, can't you?
That's
when it's
the thing,
all going
yeah.
on, you know. Anyway, interesting stuff. And we're on the flat for the final time in 2022. Who knew it? That was a highlight of 2022, wasn't it? When we had Oisin in the studio on Shergard Cup Day. That was absolutely fantastic.
Baker Grace gets a flyer.
Absolutely wings out under Franny from the front, Mr. Norton. Looking for the favourite, if you're with that. Nicely poised, Tom Marquand rides Lingfield as well as any I've ever seen, including Adam Kirby, and is in third at the moment. He knows he's got a challenge on the outside. Jilly Cooper, William Buick on the inside. Say You Will was the one who absolutely fell out. Crystal Cask for the Millmans. He'll probably tell you it's terrible before it goes and wins another 3. And Sunset Bay out the back as well.
Indian File.
Indian File. Let's go to you then, Barry. He's a little bit keen up front, but he's opening up. There's no pace on. Poste thought this would be in your favour.
Favourite has a box set, doesn't he? He's 2.50. Morgan Ferry, Jilly Cooper 3.654. Wadacre Grayson 13 bar.
All right.
Top 3 in the market filled the top 3 spots.
And like I say, we're half a mile out now on this. They really start to all of a sudden, just this is where they come down the hill, guys, isn't it? Around about 3 furlongs out. Some horses hate it, some absolutely love it. And you probably want to be up front at this point. And Morgan Ferry, she's got the pace to aim at.
She has indeed, and we're happy with the pitch, aren't we? The one place you don't want to be is down the rail up the straight at Lingfield. So Tom Marquand's going to have to challenge up the middle.
Exactly where Oliver Searle is, and the Millman will be absolutely loathing that at the minute. All right, then here we go. Jilly Cooper still on the bridle, but his stablemate at the moment, Waldacre Grace. And all of a sudden, Morgan Ferry's going to need to treacle. Now the afterburner's coming in. Has she gone hard enough? That's the question. Waldacre out the front. You don't want to be on the inside.
Come on,
Here
Jilly!
it comes, Dave! Here it comes, Dave!
Over the top, and that's Waldacre's on the inside. A battling performance. Cozy in the end. I'll tell you what, favourite backers.
There's no photograph this time, is there?
We have. Oh yeah, we have got this one right. I think Barry, you might have thought you nicked it there.
Yeah, he's done nothing wrong, Fanny Norton. Sure, he hasn't. He's even battled back for second place to chin Jilly Cooper, who looked for second. But yeah, you're giving a 5-4 chance of big up there in the studio. Good to see, lads.
That's it. You're echoing everyone out there, Barry, by the way, I'm sure with that. But it's when they look beat, isn't it? Who was it that we saw in the Winter Derby trial? It was, of course, the Bowie horse. What was it called?
Oh.
The one that came absolutely out of the clouds under Jim Crowley.
Yeah.
The Royal Ascot winner.
Come on, Sam Hart.
Yeah, come on, who was it? It was the Bowie horse. And who was the thing? Algiers was the horse that got nutted. I remember that. And we saw him, of course, come back at the track. We're watching a replay here. Good fun, these all-weather races.
Franny on that, the Wadacre. You see that trap out the stalls? I mean, it literally
like
go on the B of the bang.
Yeah, absolutely. The Greyhound Derby all of a sudden. And it just done pretty much everything right.
Yeah.
Franny he would know every nuance going on these tracks, wouldn't he? Yeah. And for me, Franny Norton, let's just have a little word on him at the moment. He's got no right to be riding if this was 20 years ago, is he? It shows you how the nutrition, how the jockeys program has changed. He's the one, I think, for me, 10 years ago, I realised that the older lot, like Frankie, were going to be able to keep going.
Yeah, I completely agree with you. I mean,
Missed the Cut was the name of the horse. Missed the Cut that got up. It just shows you, if you get down that middle like Tom did there, you can go. How big did that one go, Barry?
The winner, Dave. I didn't go big, Dave. Perfectly honest with you, it was favoured swinging into the straight, and the market seemed to think it would always pick up the runner-up.
All right, fine. Okay, and again, Exchange Land tends to know. Lingfield, we bid you farewell. We've had some great thrills and spills on the flat. We're going to give you our highlights of 2022. I mentioned at the show we had when Oshin came over and Barry was over as well with the show guy. What was your favourite Racing Post Live? Tell us that as well. We've had some absolute belters. It's been a great year, that's for sure. And we continue on in 2023. And Waldacre Grace then, no close but cigar. Posty, the good thing landed. Yeah, you're back in the game, man.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's a relief.
It is a massive relief. Yeah. Absolutely. Batch is still looking for a winner, aren't you? Oh, no, you had Peckensop, sorry.
Yeah, Peckensop was one of my three.
He's going to
Knives will be out for me now.
I'm claiming that.
Absolutely. All right. Look, we've got a bit of time now. We're 15 minutes away from Grade 1 time here. And I'll tell you what, he's bigger than I thought he would be. Hermes Allen. Do you think people are starting to worry jet-powered, sunk on the ground, Barry?
It was 2.48, it's 2.34 now, so it has come in a little bit, Dave, from that high. 5.8 Joyu Manchan, 9.4 Crambo, it's 14.5 Vicky Vale, Thomas Moore 17.5, You Wear It Well 19, and it's 25 Ikado BU 30 bar. Yeah, the favourite's a worthy favourite, but the form of the race in Cheltenham hasn't really worked out. And you could say the same about Joy Machan, who won the first division of the Maiden Hurl. Facile Vega won the second division of it in Fairyhouse. Now, done it in a better time than Facile Vega, but the race hasn't worked out at all. The second, Viva de Vito, was well beat in the Maiden Hurl in Leopardstown when fancied on St. Stephen's Day. And the fourth has been well beat since. Interesting that they're taking it over here under Sean O'Keefe to test the waters, Joyu Machine. But I'm going to take it on the place market, please. In the three places, you can get it at around the even money mark, 195 actually. So between evens and 10 to 9 on. We're going to take 25 quid at the backer stake.
Three place lay, 25 quid, yeah.
At 1.95, please, Charlie. Yeah, I think the form of the race hasn't worked out. That Fairyhouse Maiden Hurl win, although it did it well, won by 5 lengths. But this is a different proposition. 2.5 miles on this ground in Newbury, having to travel over against what's a pretty decent field, all things being considered for this race. Usually it only gets a handful of runners, and there's always a short one in it. Now, obviously, we have Hermes Allen this time round, but numbers-wise, it's competitive, and any of these can take a step forward.
He's holding his price in the market, Joyo Machine, isn't he? And it was all about the time comparison, I think, with Facile Vega. I don't know how much you can read into these sectionals in jump racing and stuff, because you never know what you're going to get going to the first hurdle and all that stuff. Sometimes you can have 2 divisions of a race and it's in completely different fashion and stuff. It's not that straightforward.
I think you see a lot of that in Ireland as well, didn't you?
Yes. And he absolutely hosed up this chap. He had been beaten at Wexford the time before. All right, Paul Nolan coming on. Dearly love to see Paul Nolan win this. Unless I'm missing something, guys.
I mean, getting beat behind in the pocket, though, that's been franked as well, hasn't it?
Good horse. Yeah. Again, will be in when the previews start for March. That will be a horse that gets a bit of chat, I would imagine, in the pocket, of course, JP McManus's horse. Unless I'm missing something, I cannot find a single Irish winner of this race since its inception in 1971. Someone tell me if I'm wrong out there. You would, of course, question how many have tried.
Yeah, quite.
Because of Leopardstown Christmas and stuff like that. But interesting, isn't it? So that could be a news line. I guess, Barry, with Paul's comments leading into it, he did a really nice piece with us in the week in your RP read. He basically said, losing a couple of horses was a real blow. And this is the guy that might bring him back. This is strong patronage for him as well, isn't it? Just remind myself.
It's Ferguson, Axis, along with Jed Mason and others.
Yeah. So Joyo Machan, he probably wants the ground, but Hermes Allen, I've put him up on all known historical form. This guy really ought to be winning this. You need, again, the excellent Kevin Morley, who I always reference you guys out there, would suggest only 2 horses can win this on Racing Post ratings historically. Thomas Moore is the other one for the pipes that looks overpriced. Vicky Vale, whether Skelton's team, I don't know. We'll have to see, but she was very impressive at Hereford. But this guy, Hermes Allen, ticks every Challow box going. And the comparisons with Brave Man's Game are there, aren't they? Because, same sort of path we're expecting. Cost a lot of money from the points. Interesting that Barry has spoken to Paul, isn't putting this up, but I suppose it's a surprise thing. Idalco Bihu, though, he's the trade, isn't he? So, and that one in the Lucky 15. He is interesting. 9 out of the last 10 last time out winners. Now, most of these are. It's usually a small field. It's a race that layers don't like. The one interesting thing about the Irish horses, they're going to get a mark, aren't they? And if Joy and Machine does get sunk on the ground, it's fascinating. This
so
race.
It could be it's a win-win.
Yeah.
Well, look at
you'd think the Elliott horse, Kansas City Star, who was
the one.
behind Joy Machine. That's the mark.
It's the one, isn't it? And of course, it's owned by Brian Drew of Brave Man Games fame and a lot of others. This is just a fascinating runner. Beaten 13 lengths by Joy and Machine. What's he doing here? So
he was staying on at the end as well.
Looking at the boys' race, might we?
Kansas City Star was staying on behind Joyous Machine. Didn't look at as much toe as Joyous, but it's a massive price.
Yeah. What do you like in it?
I think Hermes Allen is a good thing. I really do.
Oh,
And
when Batch talks like this.
I'm looking for the Batchy forecast, and I'm going with Vicky Vale to finish second.
What does that pay, Barry, on the exchange? The forecast. That is 4 to beat 13. The old adversary, of course, Skelton and Nichols.
Oh, let me check it out on the sportsbook, Dave.
No worries. I'll let you have a look at that because you've got a bit of a history.
Oh, I'm very good at the forecast.
You love a forecast,
don't
you?
Yeah. The forecast king, I am.
I mean,
what is it for Hermes Allen to beat
13? Vicky
Vale.
Vale.
Vicky Vale.
Hermes Allen to beat Vicky Vale is 10 to 1.
Thank you, Barry. So there you go. If you want a little bit on that, that might be a way to play it, isn't it? So look, history suggests that the market has got this right. If there was a flyer, Posty?
If there was a flyer, crikey, I didn't know you were going to chuck this at me because I'm very much Hermes Allen. I mean, sorry.
Batchy watching a race at Warwick, by the way. The two just came down.
I think I think you alluded to. Thomas Moore could be the one that might be overpriced. I mean,
really impressive, isn't he?
The win at Wincanton. I mean, look, maybe the race fell apart. Maybe you can pick massive holes in it, but you're still winning by 57 lengths, aren't you? You know, as in a. And the form with Galassian, the 4-length beating at Worcester, I don't think is a bad effort, at all. Possibly, if you're looking at prices, he's the one that's been overplayed. For me, I'm a big Hermes Allen fan as well.
Can I ask you guys something here, Charlie?
Yep.
Ask you and Dave maybe as well. There's a horse running here, Jane Williams trains, Mocha Devassi, has a mark of 123, right?
Yeah.
And they've elected, it's a 4-year-old, right? And they've elected to come here. Like, who's placing those horses? Like, off a mark of 123, if they think it's any use, would they not go and win a handicap hurl and progress through the ranks? Like, what's their thinking there?
He's an interesting horse, this.
Yeah.
He's not come up to expectations, I don't suppose, but he's been beaten 9 lengths by Pied Piper, what everyone thought was a terrible a juvenile race that was on trials day.
Yeah, Cheltenham,
the JCB thing in Cheltenham last January.
And he finished 5th in the Adonis, didn't he?
He was
in the Adonis.
This is almost,
I backed him a couple of times last year.
Yeah,
I just, who places their horses like? Who advises them to stick it into a race like this?
Well, the one thing I would say, Barry, is that if a horse isn't ready, you can give him a right. I mean, it's almost like what we were saying about Picar earlier on, isn't it? They're going high with this guy to get the experience.
But he is the second season novice now, starting back out. So the argument would be, you do what Dan did with Picar, and you run him in highly rated races to see where you're at. You know, he comes up short, but you're a second season novice with plenty of experience and a high level of ability. Yeah. So, like you're saying, like Barry Simon, Mocha Devassi, he's ran behind Forever William, Pied Piper, Night Salute, all above average campaigners. He's got a mark now of 123. He's ran in decent races. Like you say, if you think that there's work a bit, if you think he can win the Challow, he shouldn't be running in this.
Yeah.
Yeah, right. I mean,
not off a mark of 1, 2, 3.
Yeah, exactly. You know, well, and I suppose the argument is if he was trained across the water, he definitely wouldn't be running in the Challow if he thought he could be anywhere near to placing in this sort of race because. I mean, the upside would be enormous from running him in a handicap, wouldn't it?
Well, and I guess they probably just want to get him out, don't they? But like I say, the Williams stable sort of has done this with juveniles in the past, hasn't it? sometimes runs newcomers in graded races and things like that.
Yeah, but I think that's fine, isn't it? But like, what we're seeing is also with a mark. You know,
Are you suggesting in a couple of years he's going to be a full season novice?
Yeah, and then they'll have some good days out.
Well, there we are. All right, okay. So let's go down the field a little bit because we've got a bit of time. Well, I went about 6 or 7 minutes to this. Barry's selection. Place Lay is going big on the Irish Raider. History will repeat itself and it won't be going back across the Irish Sea. Hugh Masson says, keen to lay Hermes Allen for the win and 2 places. Go big or go home, Hugh. I think he's a flat track bully. Oh, come on. He's been around Cheltenham, Hugh. What are you on about? Mattie, worth taking on the Fav. You're all piling up for this, lads, aren't you? Anything can win on this ground. So gone with Vicky Vale, with the batch, and Skelts is due one. How will Skelts be approaching this?
Positively.
He doesn't know any other way, does he? Martin Lewis, good to have you.
What about the Fergal O'Brienals, Crambo?
Martin Lewis with financial advice, of course, telling us that Joya should be winning this hard held. All right, an opposing view, we love that. And Kevin, the final one, these 2 blank Saturdays in December has led to very good field for sizes in the last few days. And it's going to be the same tomorrow when we're back with you.
We completely agree, Kevin.
Once, we all agree. There's too much racing,
Unanimous.
right?
Exactly.
Yeah, okay. Will they listen?
No.
I mean, Fergal O'Brien had 3 in
Not
this,
to us.
I mean, I think he runs 2 now, but I think he had Accidental Agent as a non-runner as well. So,
Accidental Rebel.
Rebel, sorry. Is this his 1 Grade 1 winner? Did he not win it with one of the Yes No Wait Sorries a few years ago?
Oh yeah, he did.
Didn't really go on.
It was the one non-last time out winner as well in the
Well,
pack.
it bucks the trends.
So it was the one that bucks the trends. Yeah, it was.
Didn't go on
What's
chasing. God.
It was Alan Lee's old lot, wasn't it?
Yeah, the Yes No Wait Sorries. Yeah.
Late Alan Lee.
Yeah. Go on.
Poetic Rhythm. It was called.
That's it. Yeah.
In a memorable year, obviously. It beat a terrible field. Mullachy's and Hill and Kilbrick and Storm, and didn't have much to beat there.
It is great to see this being a deep race, though, competitive race.
Yes, absolutely. You know, this is what we want them to be. We see them in Ireland, don't we? These grade ones away from festivals and stuff like that. It's exactly what we want.
As in, we'll learn a lot more about Hermes Allen in this than what we would in a normal year. Where he
you'd love to see Hermes Allen like really put in a good performance here and put his hand up for one of the novice races, the Ballymore or the Albert Bartlett at the festival. Yeah, it'd be good for the game to see that.
Yeah.
Can you get the Bally betting up for us, please, on the sportsbook, Barry, and give us the first 3 or 4 so we get a feel on whether we think maybe now is the time. No, if you like Hermes Allen here, he's going to shorten, isn't he? If he does what Brave Man's Game did, for example, a couple of seasons back.
Yeah, the Ballymore. We are 5-1 Gallic Warrior, Facile Vega 6-7 Impera in Pass, Blancaire West, Grange Clare West is 8-1, Hermes Allen 9-1, Arctic Brazil 12.
So one of the remaining novice races that is all to play for, like the Brown Advisory, I suppose, isn't it? There are 2 races so far.
The Albert Bartlett's wide open as well, isn't it, at the moment?
Yes,
like,
good
shout. Really the Supreme that's kind of really, where there's a real short one.
Well, and the Triumph.
Obviously, Facile Vega, but Grange Clare West, Hidden Valley Lake, kind of head the market there in the Albert Bartlett. I think this horse could potentially be an Albert Bartlett type more than a Ballymore.
Hermes Allen? Blimey. There's a shout. What price is he for that? Dare I ask?
12-1.
Shorter than you might have thought. I guess that's kind of just in case, isn't it? We're watching him back on the screen now. The third, We've All Been Caught, who I just thought was a brilliant name. He runs tomorrow in the first at Cheltenham. I think he'll win that. He's a right eye catcher. He could be an Albert Bartlett horse yet as well. But I don't know. The form is... Because if you're basing it on the second, who probably was more of an early season type for me, I'm a bit more positive on that. But thrashed them.
I was going to say that there comes a point where you just got to, visually, he's taken that race apart. And yes, the second maybe let the form down, got, well beaten a handicapper recently in Ireland. But he absolutely won as he liked. And I like the profile of the fact that they weren't sure about this horse initially. He wasn't showing a whole heap. And he's gone the races and he's getting better and better. And a bit like what we're saying, like not comparing him to Constitution Hill in any way, shape or form, but Paul seems to suggest that since Cheltenham, he's sharpened up at home and he seems to be coming forward and progressing. I just think that's the sort of horse you want to be with.
And of course, he's kept him fresh for this batch, hasn't he? So are we all with? But are we all with?
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay, all right.
He's been well punted, Dave.
Yeah,
he's been really well punted.
I thought he was going to go odds on, Barry. I thought he kind of was at the start of the day. That's why I came to you and said he looks like he's on the slide to me slightly. But they're all queuing up, are they?
2.16 now. So he's gone from like around the 13 to 8 mark on the exchange into nearly even money, and that takes a lot of money to do that.
They've got Monmoral, of course.
Let me
tomorrow
see
in the
what's
Dipper.
being matched in the race.
This could be a
We've
big.
matched in the race. We've had 660,000 at the moment, and 370 of it. So well over half of it has been on him.
He's the one. He's basically an even money shot for punters out there. I know you can totally agree with
Yeah.
that. If he goes on the ground, I remember Brave Man's Game when he won this a couple of years ago. We were worried about him on the ground, and he just sauntered through it. I seem to remember he was quite weak on the exchange as well that day, despite the fact he went off Fav.
But is your reason for thinking that because he hasn't ran on it?
No, well, what was his point?
Well, he's third on soft
Yielding.
ground,
Yielding,
and then
there was a
good
bit of
to
giving
yielding.
at that day for his point, yeah.
Yeah, so we don't really know is the question. So if he, you know,
This breeding seems to all go on at all those lands, don't they?
Yeah, exactly.
and the French side of it as well,
Polyglot,
isn't
is
it?
that the
Polyglot,
side?
yeah, exactly. Yeah, and they would definitely get soft ground horses. So.
I'll tell you who I think might finish second. I think Crambo might finish second.
Yeah.
I like Hidalgo Behu. He could have gone anywhere, couldn't he? And whether, he definitely been waiting for the soft ground, no doubt about it. I like him. They'd be my top three, I think.
Crambo just needs to brush up on his jumping.
He does.
He wasn't the best at
He
Ascot.
does. But he won that despite the jumping, I think.
Yeah,
It's
it
a
looks like
weak
he's got a
race,
nice
I think.
engine, but he just needs to brush
Yeah,
up.
he
on
does,
Does
absolutely.
Compton go out and make all here? Does he? Or
Yeah, I
he's up
think
there,
he
make a
isn't he?
lead, or
I think he'll
don't
be.
mess around?
I'll tell you what.
He'll keep it simple, won't he? As in, like, I think if someone wants to go a real gallop, he'll follow. Otherwise, he'll make the running.
Who'd be a flag man? We're hearing there is inspection tomorrow after
Flag woman,
bundles of
Dave.
rain at
Flag woman.
flag person.
Flag person.
Yeah,
Is
quite
an inspection
where?
where, Dave?
There's an inspection at Exeter tomorrow. I don't know if we don't cover it. It's Musselburgh covering as well, isn't it, on tandem? So I don't think there's any problem up there. Exeter looks like they've had biblical rain at last in the West Country. All right, then we're off and running. Good luck whichever way you play in the great one today.
Exeter.
And Hermes Allen is out in front, guys. Kansas City is on the inside. Interestingly, Thomas Moore, who's shown himself to be a bit of a grinder so far, happy to take a lead today. Marble Sands, the other one of Fergal's, he's up there as well. You looking for some of the other players. Where is Joy Machine? He's nicely on the inside. All of a sudden, let's tell you what, doesn't look too bad all of a sudden, does it, on the hurdles course? Let's see if that's still the case. Interestingly, Poste, they've got Vicky Vale right up there.
Yeah, right up there and very, very wide.
Do you think this is after Picard?
What, that they've changed tactics?
Who went right at the back and sort of went inside a bit.
Well,
It's almost like
I think rather than, I think the riding style is just to do with the horse and what they think. This is a Westerner that's probably a bit of a grinder, but I think definitely a change of opinion re the ground. Harry Skelton is going as wide as he possibly can.
I think
Right, there you
Picard was
go.
just a bit disappointing because Tom O'Brien was nearly upsides Picard down the back. So
Yeah. Jamie Soane's got two in here. One for Chips Keswick. You wear it well, very progressive horse, right out the back. He's also got passing well in the red colours. He's catching my eye going in quite a nice with him. Thomas Moore going wide. Crambo not great there, Batch, out the back. He's a thinker, isn't he?
yeah.
Now, this is what you want to see, I think, if you're on the Fav, Barry. Hidalgo Behu, just keeping tabs on him, though, in third.
Yeah, he's keeping him well in his sights. The favourite was a little bit sticky over the first two. He jumped the third better. He travels well. He's obviously they're full of confidence with him, Harry Cobden. They know what they have, so send him off there. Happy to make the running, although he's been taken on now for the lead, but happy to be up with it. I think the faster they go, the better he'll jump. But he's 2.24 at the moment, 6.8 Crambo, 6.4 Vicky Vale. That's the one that's really come in price. Hidalgo BU is 17, had a bet for SP at 23, but the favourite's still strong despite, what is it, Vicky Vale that's taking it up?
Yeah.
Case of Sorcerer in the Apprentice at the moment is because Dan Skelton now goes on, Harry. And definitely a Westerner grind. I think you're right there, Post. You nailed that one. She is going to try and grind it out from the front. I think if you're with Hermes Allen at Cheltenham, this is what you want to see, really, because you don't want to be going to at Cheltenham like Brave Man's Game and just having to. We think he has to lead. There's that sort of thing. Now he's getting a lead. Let's see how he responds to that. Joya Machine.
He's jumping great now that he's got the lead.
There you go. This is very. He just knuckled a bit there on landing. The moment you said that, I'm just to see what
Just on his head a bit, he's got his head long, slow, so it's slightly on his forehand, on his front legs, and there when he got in tight, he just sort of landed, like all the weight was going forward, and he just pitched slightly.
Let's have a look for some of the others then, Batch. Where's Joya Machine at the moment? Is he on the inside group?
He's on the inside behind Kansas. I think. If you make
Yeah,
out
he's
the
probably in
colours,
about
yeah.
6th or 7th.
He's
isn't
not
he?
enjoying it for my money, Joy. You, my shit.
No.
No.
He's not enjoying it.
No, they've come all the way over hoping for better ground, and absolute sod's law for the Nolan camp, isn't it?
He's
It's
not liking
bucketed
it at
down all of a
all,
sudden. Marble Sand's going well, all right on the outside. It's Alcopahu really catching the eye as well a little bit, but the Fav is up there. So this is the forecast batch. Did you reverse it?
No, don't need to.
No, okay, all right, happy days. All right, we're swinging in then. The long one to the third last. Charlie Post was catching your eye.
Well, I mean, like Vicky Vale has gone out and is going to make this a proper test, as in we're really going to see what the favourite Hermes Allen is made of. And at the moment, as they swing down the side of the trap before turning in, she leads them by about 5 lengths. Just looking back, Thomas Moore, I think, has travelled well throughout. Dave, we're happy there.
Marble
Also,
Sands.
the Chips Keswick is
Kansas
bang
is
there.
going all right, isn't it?
Yeah.
There's no way the one in front can keep up that gallop.
I would be very surprised.
Very surprised.
All right, okay. So at the moment they are absolutely
2-1
trapping.
on the exchange. You
Ring-
can lay the one in front of 2-1 on the exchange. It want to be some horse to keep that gallop going, although we've seen it already today with front runners.
Yeah, will Harry Cobden get sucked in? He's gone the inside. Harry's going the outside. So the two Harry's going for it. At the moment, they've got the rest cold. God, that's a real old catching run from Kansas there. Marble
look at
Sand's
this,
going
lads.
well.
Yeah.
Come on then, ping it up. 3 out. Here we go. He sent him on now. He's a little bit sticky there, the ex-pointer, but on he goes. The machine is a Hermes Allen at the moment is sauntering through. You wear it
5-1
well. Might be a bit of a closer, would it?
Yes, I
for
think
the
definitely,
Snowdens.
yeah.
If he's gone too soon, that's the one that will
He
pick it up.
hasn't gone too soon.
Yeah, not too soon.
I think you got the place lay right, Barry. Absolutely sunk the Irish runners. Adalco Bahu is running on very nice. He's a lovely chaser in the making. 2 out, up he goes, and it's a great jump there. Not like the runner-up. This is an absolute procession.
Yes.
This is what you wanted to see, boys, if you're on the Fav. Coming to the last, guys.
Yeah, 100%.
Oh.
Hold your breath.
Hold your
Harry
breath.
Cobden just looking
5
for a
to 1
stride
on.
to go
Yeah,
forward.
5 to 1
One,
on, says Barry.
two,
Up he
three,
goes. There he goes.
That's
We
what
go
he
on
wants.
here, lads, haven't we?
He's all right, Barry. Don't worry.
Absolutely walking they are. Tell you what, all of a sudden, you wear it well is trying. No, he's just keeping him, holding him together. I'll tell you what, the placed horses will look like really nice stayers for the future. I'd wager this will be very good domestic form. You wear it well. Had he had jumped that second last bit better, might have given him more to think about. But this is all cruisy. We're on the
Look at that.
bridle. We're getting boozy. We've got an absolute belter over here, Barry Orr.
Yeah, he looks a nice one.
Yeah.
Good to see as well. There's nothing really traded short in running. Vicky Vale, when she hit the front, traded at 2.7, so 7-4. But Hermes Allen, the money came for it. Betfair SP of 208. Just waiting to get an update now. It'll be quotes for the Ballymore, I would imagine, and potentially the Albert Bartlett.
I tell you what Christmas it's been down at Ditchy, isn't it? A 13th King George.
Yeah.
Another Challow. That's the last 3 he's won, of course. And now everyone will just be thinking, what's the elephant in the room here? He gets to Cheltenham and he gets knocked out of the way, doesn't he? But this does look like a horse that can do it lots of different ways. On decent ground, from the front, can take a lead, get in tight, going long, stays all day. Lovely animal.
Very much. Yeah, I thought he could, but I think it was the ground. I actually think I'd be surprised if they don't come in and say that they think he'll be happier on a bit nicer ground than this. I thought his jump in today was economical and measured without having quite the same zip as what we saw at Cheltenham.
He was going in and popping a lot.
Yeah,
wasn't he?
all the time. And I do wonder if maybe that was Harry Cobden trying to conserve on this sort of ground and just wanting it to get from A to B. But I just thought it lacked a bit of the wow factor his jumping than what we saw at Cheltenham. But
I thought he was drunk after he jumped the last. Look, he just kind of had to gather him up again. But he's come right over onto the stand side and then just seems to come back on it. Or is he just nursing him home there?
Do you know what, Barry?
5
That
from
could
9,
be
5 joint 5 from 9 for the Ballymore and 8 from 12 for the Albert Bartlett.
It's hard not to have him favourite, I think, for the Ballymore at the moment. Despite what we think about the Irish, all that sort of stuff, on pure form and everything else, this guy has to be favourite for that, I think.
And what
Albert
Barry's
Bartlett's
saying
an
about that, he
instant
looked tired. You can get horses look like that on that because they're not enjoying the ground. And he wasn't enjoying the ground.
And he's brought him over stand side,
yeah.
and he's kind of got going again, isn't he? A little
and
bit.
I think he just wanted the rail to run against, just to give him a bit of company. Again, I would say if you asked Harry Cobden, in an ideal world after Harry Skelton's injector, he'd have rather had a lead for longer, because Harry Skelton's made the race into like a bit of a war and a massive test. And the one thing you don't really want in those situations is to end up being left in front half a mile from home up the Newbury home straight with so much in front of you. But he's kind of, the horse has just got the job done, I would say.
I'd be surprised if Harry don't come in and say to Paul Nicholls, saying, like, he's not enjoyed that one bit, but he's gone and done it like that.
And
I'd be very surprised.
And he'll probably be saying, thanks, Harry Skelton, for giving me that lead, because it was a right lead, wasn't it? Harry went for it, didn't he?
He did, but like I say, I'd say Harry Cobden would have rather he went half a gear slower and led him to the second last.
Yeah.
Okay, all right. But the form, I think, will work out well. I wonder whether we might have seen 2 Cheltenham Festival winners there.
Go on then.
Well, it's a mare, isn't it, in second? She is one.
You wear it well.
Absolute belter.
Yeah.
That's going to look like pretty good form going into... I mean, she'll sure... I mean,
what's the mark going to do there?
Well, that's the handicaps. They won't worry about that. She's been placed now in a Grade 1, hasn't she? Second in a Grade 1. Take out... If you are looking at something very special... I just think we might see this form well advertised throughout the rest of the season.
What, Mare's Novice Hurdle for, you're thinking?
Mare's Novice has got to be, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's got to be Mare's Novice Hurdle. She's been up the likes of Hexham. She's won on good ground. She's a Midnight Legend, but she's a Flemingfirth mare, so it's almost like treacle and firm ground, isn't it, the pedigree? So
What ended up third in that?
Idalco Behu ran really well. He looked still a little bit inexperienced, 4-year-old, but unbeaten coming into this.
Kansas City, where did that end up?
Cruised into the home straight,
Yeah.
looking for all over like it was a handicap project, then fell in a hole. So, but these horses will now be getting a mark, and the place lay well done, Barry. You got that out. One more to come in 2022 for you here on Racing Post Live in association with Betfair. What a year we've had. What did you make of that, guys? Was that your highlight of 2022? Let us know. Like and subscribe on YouTube. Share the show around. Look on Twitter. # RP Live, and you can now get involved. Let's get it started then. This highlight party of 2022. Here we go. Half an hour until our next race at Newbury. Dylan, highlight of the year is watching Race Post Live every week. If only I could say the same, Dylan. I know some of the spacemen they put me with every week. Honestly, 2023, you're going to give me your wishes of 2023. We'll get one off Batch.
Yeah.
We'll save you and Barry for tomorrow. But honestly, we might think about
Can I give one, though?
Here we go.
My wish is like that people would stop saying what a plonk you are and have to defend you.
Do you have to do that
Yeah,
all over the
no,
place?
honestly, he's sound, this fella. As in, he's actually, he knows what he's talking about, and yeah.
Well, one of my highlights is when Ross Briley stood in for him.
There are imitations out there. We love you, Briley. All right, okay, so Dylan, yeah, look, we'd love to have even you every week. What does Hugh Matson say he's been with us? Bruce sliding off his chair after putting up command of the fleet has to be the RP Live highlight. That was...
Brilliant.
Look at Brendan Duke there. That was a great appearance, wasn't it, from the Dukey? We'll try and get him back.
He's getting no love for the fist bump, is he?
He literally...
He's being left there, he's left hanging.
People think that I over-celebrate a bit, but we do tend to wear our hearts on our sleeves here, Barry, don't we?
Why not?
Yeah, you certainly do. Yeah, it's always a bit of fun, isn't it? It's just a different experience for people watching horse racing, and there's different characters, and I think the shows are better for that.
And he was having a terrible week, let's put it that way. And then Commander of the Fleet rocks up with one of those throwaway 50-1 chances and got him out of jail, and he finished the week on a high.
Yeah, I was on the second, so don't remind me of Commander of the Fleet. He hasn't won a race since, and he won't win a race again either. I was sick as a pig.
Ashdale Bob, wasn't it? Was it Ashdale Bob?
It was one of Sean Mulryne's.
Oh, yes.
The name of it just escaped me, but I had it in a multi with another one that had touched it up.
What did Commander of the Fleet hang on from? Of course, I was thinking it was Ashdale Bob. Ashdale Bob was massive.
It was the horse that made the mistake, wasn't it, at the wrong moment, the thing of Sean Moran's, wasn't it, or not? And then was flying late, no?
Whenever you see one of Sean Moran's and Brassel's or something like that that's punted in one of these handicaps, you just got to expect it to be there. What was it called?
Fast or slow.
Fast or slow, that's right, exactly that. Thank you, thank you, Barry. Yeah, that was a massive highlight. We love having Bruce on the show, and he'll be back, don't you worry about that. Look at this, Dan Kent Vlogs. What a great name. My racing, I'm assuming that Dan Kent does vlogs, of course.
Yeah.
My racing highlights. Flat hat, we're switching. We can switch because it is a calendar year. Alpinista in the Arc. And jumps probably has to go to A Plus Tard, who we heard from Neil Francis earlier as well. Where do we pick up with that? Alpinista.
Brilliant.
Someone put up the clip of Prescott. Was it Mike Dillon with him? I was trying to work out. Mike Dillon's usually got a strong tash, he's known, isn't he? But anyway, he had someone with him. And he stood there very quietly, didn't he, and watched him. Seemingly he had a tumultuous journey to the track as well, didn't he? But everyone loved seeing Prescott win that, didn't they?
Yeah, and Luke Morris. He's the
Morris.
He's the professional's professional, and everyone sort of has a pop about his style, but listen, it works, and fair play to him.
Oh, and he gave the mare a cracking ride.
It was armchair stuff, wasn't it, until the final furlong, yeah. And it was just to see a mare like that, 6-year-old, wasn't she, as well? Now I'm retired, of course.
But I mean, and like again for the owner, Kirsten Rousing, like I mean the backstory with the pedigree. I mean, you know, goes back through a serious amount of incredibly good horses that she's owned down the years, and to do all that and then
owner breeder, of course.
Yeah.
Yeah,
that was back to Alvarado and Albanova and those good mares. Yeah, fantastic.
And Aplutard winning the Gold Cup, Barry, to see him sprinting away from Manila Indo, who a lot of people thought would bounce back in the Gold Cup, did. I mean, it was like he could have gone round again. That was a massive highlight, wasn't it? And Rachel winning the Gold Cup, of course.
Yeah, that was good to see. Good to see again. I was on the second there, Manila Indo.
There's a theme.
With my punting hat on, it wasn't great for me. But taking the punting hat off for a minute, I thought my highlight national hunt has to be Noble Yates and Wally Cohen winning the Grand National. Oh, that was fantastic. Great achievement. Unbelievable to see an amateur go out on such a high. It really was fairy tale stuff, and it's what we've come to appreciate about the Grand National, all these great stories. In terms of flat racing, I'd have to agree with Charlie Albanese that Sir Mark Prescott, in the twilight of his career, I think it's fair to say, he'd tell you that himself. To see him win an ARC with a filly like her was just fantastic. And for Kirsten Rousing, who put so much into the game. Special mention to Kevin Manning, who retired with very little fanfare this year. You know, what a true professional he's been. And, you know, someone that young jockeys could really learn from. Just consummate professional, always had a smile on his face, despite the struggles that he had with his way throughout his career. Just a really, really nice fella. Special mention to him. What else was there? I suppose you'd have to say Willie training 10 winners at Cheltenham Festival. The Irish had 18 winners, 10 of them by Willie, and the English had 10 winners among all their trainers. Hopefully that'll change this year and it'll get a little bit more competitive. But that was a marvellous performance to train 10 winners at a Cheltenham Festival. It truly is, like the last couple of years have been the Hallican days of Irish runners at the Cheltenham Festival. I think that the tide's going to start swinging a little bit the other direction now, that, like, especially with the likes of Paul Nicholls, they've spent the big money that the Irish trainers have been to buy horses. Yeah. His owners have been spending big money, and you're seeing the fruits of that come to fruition now, especially with the likes of Hermes Alan and a couple of other really nice novices and bumper horses that they have down there in Ditchy.
Let's concentrate on those. It's my turn to say I was on the second with Noble Yates in the very well named Denny Second now, who actually came back with a second today as well. But Sam Wadey-Cohen, and to announce it was going to be your final ride before the race. I know, fantastic. That's unheard of, isn't it?
I don't think they bought the horse till a couple of months
just before Cheltenham. Yeah, he ran all right in the Ultima. I actually fancied him in the Ultima because of that Ahoy Senor run.
Yeah,
and okay,
quite incredible, like how it all came together.
And Willie Mullins 40% batch in all Irish Grade Ones for the calendar year.
Phenomenal, yeah, it's unbelievable.
As mad as, and while the pendulum might swing, it might not do it yet. Highlights of the year, Posty?
I went with Baid in the Juddmonte International.
It was a special moment, that wasn't it? Was a special moment when he proved that he was up there, and forget Champion Stakes, I think.
Definitely, I don't tarnishes much on his reputation.
People forget that Galileo got sunk in a Breeders' Cup on his final start. So he was very exciting. It was great to see William Aggis throughout the year as well, wasn't it? Your mate Jim?
Yeah, great for Jim, yeah. Making that, well, I say he's been riding on the flat for years, but to come over to the flat, champion jockey, get a great job, and to ride a horse like that. Phenomenal.
People asking me outside of racing, like I'm sure you guys were, Barry and Ireland as well, who is this Baid I keep hearing about? Who's this Baid? It was, no one could pronounce it. Lots of people texting me going, should I be back in this horse? If you want to get the war chest out. But we need horses like that in racing, like we do Constitution Hill. And Batch, that's one of yours?
Yeah, highlight for me was, well, from a personal point of view, is the forecast up at the Fighting Fifth. But Constitution Hill, when I you can only just see him.
that was the forecast. You said this is a certainty.
Absolute good thing.
We shall forget the Challow hurdle.
Absolute good thing. No, but Constitution Hill, when he won at the Supreme last year, and I said it on the show, one of the shows before, I was walking down for one of the later races to go down and look at the last, and walking down with Coleman, and he was on Jean Bon, and he said he turned into the straight and thought, this is an absolute shoe-in. It's going to take an absolute machine to come past Jean Bon. And then Constitution Hill just went absolutely steaming past him.
Go past who?
Chambon.
That's been another highlight of the year.
What, my French?
Pronunciations of the year. Your French
wrong
pronunciations.
with that?
I mean, Barry went Joya Machine earlier,
What's
which I thought
wrong
was
with
lovely.
What is wrong?
But you really do like the
Chambon.
Gallic flair.
Yeah.
I don't know. I can see you retiring over there. Little chalet
I'm
in
amazed you haven't
Bordeaux
come
for
in
you.
with a beret on. once,
Absolutely,
you know.
little neckerchief,
Yeah,
that sort of thing. Next,
Oh, my way.
when you ride your last winner, put a beret on top of the cap.
And
will
also
you?
It's
another.
like being in the set of Hello, Hello in here at the moment, isn't it?
Which is a bit ridiculous.
I've seen
goodness
this only
gracious.
once.
Yeah, I'm afraid he doesn't say anything only once.
Hold on, I've got another highlight.
There we go. Go on.
When Graham Potter come back to the Amex and we stuffed him.
Football, of course.
Come on.
Brighton have done so well. I wonder if they could spoil the Arsenal party.
They will.
later.
They'll spoil the Gooners party this afternoon.
There you go. Highlights of 2022 then so far. I've got one, and it was a sort of show highlight, but also Sir Michael Stout when he won the Derby with Desert Crown. I went up to York, my first venture to York in many a year, and we saw Desert Crown. And it was a great moment professionally as well. Graham Robbo, I mean, racing Twitter needs to wobble its head sometimes, and they love to have a go at Rodders, but he was absolutely right about this horse. And Barry came over for the show as well, and Nat was in the studio. And watching Nat go over the line was a special moment, I think, for racing and the show. Let's hope he comes back in the Brigadier Gerard Stakes this year, because he could still be a serious animal. And if you're going to have a setback like he's had, you want to be trained by one person to retain your place at the top.
Oh, Michael Stout, I mean, 100%. And, he's still got it all in front of him. That's the incredibly exciting thing about the flat season next year, isn't it? I mean, brilliant for Richard Kingscote, has been probably an underrated jockey for a long time. Gave up the job with Tom Dascombe and, to come back down south and be second at Stouties, if that's what you call it, with behind Ryan Moore. And he got his opportunities, and Bay Bridge as well in the Champion Stakes as well. Fantastic.
Yeah, all right, okay. So what a year we've had. It's been a brutal year, isn't it? On many, many fronts for a lot of people. And racing's had a tough year as well at times, field sizes, the weather, all that sort of thing. We've got this whip thing coming up as well. Of course, the Gambling Commission white paper, we're all waiting to see what that is. Lots of things hanging over and all that sort of stuff. But it's still the greatest game on earth, isn't it, this?
And we've got to keep being positive,
Yeah. Well, there you are. I've never seen a negative word come at you, I don't think, ever. Even when you get beaten in a photo at Warwick, you still.
You've got to laugh, haven't you? We are high-fiving each other.
that would be a highlight. All right, let's take it back to today, shall we? Thanks, guys, for that. And we're back tomorrow, of course, with another reminder at 1 p.m. We go through slightly less racing tomorrow as well. We're covering Musselburgh, which ITV got. They got Nat Green up there doing that for ITV tomorrow. And Cheltenham, of course, we've got the Rail Kill amongst some other absolute belters, the Dipper as well. We're going to look at Tremor as well, because who's trying to get Tremor tomorrow? Which one has he got there? Who has he got there? Is it what's the National Hunt Chase winner? I haven't even looked at Tremor yet.
Neither have I.
We're going to do in keeping with tradition. We Statler.
Manila Indo's in there.
Manila
getting
Indo
£10
is in there,
on
Barry.
Saturday, yeah.
Yes. Okay. It wouldn't be New Year's Day, Barry, without me and you going to the seaside at Tremor, would it?
Yeah, I love it. Yeah, it really is a race that's established itself in the calendar thanks to Willie Mullins, obviously, who's a director down at Tranmore Racecourse, and obviously his connection with the two-time Gold Cup winner, Joe Donnelly's horse. But yeah, I thought Manila Indo could take a bit of beating there, getting the £10.
I'll never forget that year when the pandemic, unfortunately, was in full swing, and we were coming back. We had to because we had to catch up so many shows, and racing had to catch up that year. We had a lot of shows to catch up, and it seemed like me, Barry, and Bruce spent the whole of Christmas together, and we did almost every day in between. You'd have done a couple that day, and Batch probably as well. But we came in for that New Year's Day, and everything was off.
Yeah.
Bar Tremor. And we were having to look at 0 to 105s, and we got a real history from Barry, I remember, of Tremor. And fingers crossed that we've got some other action to go. But thanks to Albin, he's right, absolutely. It's put a small track in Ireland on the map as well, isn't it? And seemingly that will be another rippler. Could Statley yet emerge? He could, couldn't he?
Potentially.
I like him a lot. He's a lot faster than some people might think.
Not that you have to be that fast to win a Gold Cup.
What did you make of Conflated the other day while we're talking about all that stuff?
I thought it was impressive performance.
Not going to win a Gold Cup, though, is he? He's not.
No chance.
No, I'm with you, Barry.
His jumping's very in and out. And
Loves Leopardstown as well,
Yeah.
clearly. Loves a flat track. Aintree looked good as well, didn't he? I'd be against him at Cheltenham for sure. Although, great to see Michael O'Leary being interviewed again, and he said this was our Gold Cup. We can absolutely understand that, but no Applutard is a bit of a all of a sudden question mark.
Yeah,
there.
for sure. I mean, a couple of those sort of horses, isn't there? You know, I mean, like there's maybe a bit of a change in the guard with all of that. There's a few of them
What
looking
impressed
old.
you most over the Christmas period? Batch, have you seen anything?
I was impressed. Braves man's game, the way he settled and saw out the trip.
Do you think
I think he puts him well up in the Gold
that
Cup.
people are being a bit too dismissive of the Gold Cup then? You think he's a different horse now?
I think he is, yeah. Now that even Harry said, he's racing sort of behind the bridle a little bit now, which makes Harry's job a lot easier.
Wasn't out by Lompress, wasn't he? He went wide all the way throughout.
Yeah, I mean, his ride was criticised by Ruby, actually. He stayed upside long presse, probably a bit too long, but listen, it doesn't matter. He was on the best horse.
He won.
It won, but if he'd have got beat, they would have...
Should we go to the coach? He's itching to get his saying here.
I mean, like I do like there was an element obviously that Lompresse kept jumping left, but like Harry they'd obviously made a conscious decision they wanted to be wide and not get involved in trouble, and he did. But it's easy for Ruby to say that, but then for Harry to then take back mid race to then switch inside and sort of
it's a big move, yeah.
It's a and at the end of the day you pay to make the decisions, and he decided not to, and he won the race. So. I don't know. As in, I don't know how you can criticise that.
You think that Lompress will gain revenge in the Gold Cup, don't you?
I do, yeah.
Kills does as well. He's really keen on that.
Yeah.
I said to him yesterday when we were chatting, not ideal because if he's going to go straight there with you next to him, and he reeled off some names that had Imperial Commander being the latest of them, I think, but he went further back as well. Horses that had fallen and stuff that went and won it and unseated and all that sort of stuff. So
yeah, I wouldn't be worried about that. I mean, I think again, it's not like your question is like. He went to the last. Charlie Deutsch needed a real big stride to stay in contention, and he's got it, but the horse is like, and Charlie's going forward on that long stride, and then the horse has pitched and smacked him up the backside and ejected him. It's just one of those. The horse is a very, very sound jumper, and I think he's made for that sort of race. I would just worry that Brave Man's game, is he better suited by a flat track?
Possibly.
Well, so far he has been. He has been. There's no doubt in that. That you can't can't go
I think
away.
Nichols has said that himself, hasn't he?
Yeah.
Suggested that anyway, that he's better on a flat track. I think that's why they were so keen to go to Aintree last year.
Yeah. And I think his run style suggests that the way he goes.
Well, there was a lot of talk about him at the start of the season. I did the intermediate division. I keep harping on about because I get left with that one. It's the sort of one where people fall in between. You've got Allaho and then a load of jigsaw pieces you've got to put together. And he was one that Tom Park, who edits that, he was like, we should put him in, I think, Dave. And he convinced me and conflated with another as well. You don't know where they're going to sit.
No.
A lot of people still after. But now we know that Nichols is going to run in the Gold Cup, all being well, right?
Brave Man's game?
Yeah, he's not going to go to Ryanair, is he?
But I mean, you could argue, without being rude, are you going to take on, if he gets there, Allaho and the Ryanair or the Gold Cup? What's the easier option?
Why not take on Allaho? Why not take on Allaho with King George?
But I'm saying to you, what's the easier option?
Well, is it the Gold Cup being the easier option than the Ryanair? Wow, it's amazing, isn't it?
No,
has he got
the
speed
one
though
horse
for the Ryanair?
The one horse.
Well, let's forget the opposition for a minute. It's the trip, isn't it?
Yeah.
A lot of people thinking that with a flatter track, 3 mile tour around.
He's also went off very, very short, like fancied for a Ballymore. So I mean, I don't think he's short at toe.
And if he did, it was interesting to hear Paul after the race say he hasn't been the easiest to train. That is interesting.
Yeah, that
anyway,
was. Yeah.
So look, we wish them all well. Let's hope they all get there in one piece. Let's get some more socials before we go for our final race of 2022. Would you believe it? Joe Holden. Joe, welcome back. GDC is a freak. We know who he's talking about here, Barry, then. If he stays the trip, he just wins. The John Durkan winner, currently retaining his price, isn't he? Loads of people, Barry, saying that Galloping de Champs is a crazy price, but it is that man. They just tend to turn up and win.
Yeah, he's another one of those short Willie Mullins favourites already for one of the Cheltenham anti-post markets. He's 13-8 favourite at the moment. Yeah, he was impressive. I don't know whether for a horse that hasn't, done a real slog around Cheltenham and he's won at Martin Pipe. But he's never, obviously he needs to win over the trip before he can be considered a 13-8 chance in my book. Anyway, I'd like to see him go to the Dublin Racing Festival and really stamp his authority on the Irish Gold Cup. If he does that, then he's probably a worthy 13-8 chance, but not at the moment.
We talk about highlights of 2022, of course. And Barry references he has one, of course, at the festival, but that fall at the festival. What shocks of 2022 we should do? We could do it all. That's got to be right in your top three, I think, that, isn't it? Wow. Unbelievable. Joe Holden, thanks for that then. You're with him. GDC, we've got a new best mate if we're coming out. And Andy Sim brings it back and says, I need tea for free in my multiple. He loves a multiple, does Andy. And he's going for Charlie Longston's 4-time seeker. Same as Jordan 95, who comes on and says, need tea for free in my fourfold as well. They're chatting away while we're chatting away. Let's go to Barry and see what the final trade. Can you believe it, Barry? This is the last chance for trading glory this year.
What a disappointment this is going to be, because my horse is a non-runner.
No, I mean, listen, keep your powder dry. You can only go out on the winner then, can't you?
So there's 3 non-runners here. It's a wide open market. Surrey Quest, though, has come in for a little support, is 4.6. 6 unanswered prayers and tea for free. 5.2, Maling Nelgo. Nothing to ask, 8.8. And it's 10, Hold On to Zobo. He's one worth watching here, that Halo to Zobo. He led them shortly into the straight in Sandown and just didn't get home. I don't think he'll get home here either. But when he drops back to 2.5 miles or below, he's one that you want to be with, that Halo de Zobo, Paul Nicholls charge. But like I said, Bold Endeavour was one of my bets of the day before the ground worsened and they took him out. So, I'm not forcing it here, Dave. Looking forward to tomorrow, getting stuck into that card tonight and hopefully picking out a few nice trades tomorrow to showcase the exchange and the sportsbook.
There you go then. All right. Absolutely quite right, Barry. Another stunning shift so far today. And when in doubt, guys, sit it out. It rhymes for a good reason. All right. You're looking at me like you feel positivity. I can feel the vibes coming from you, Charlie Poste.
Malinello for me.
Again.
Yeah.
Here we go. You're just going to highlight your tipping. This is the only reason why you're doing this. Insufferable man. You said this was the bet of the day when it won, didn't you?
Yeah.
And
Actually, do you know what? I wasn't even going to bring that up. But now you mention it.
There we go.
And even better, you see, now it is second run after a wind-up. Beat Lord Rocco half a length. Yeah, I think he's overpriced. I do.
Remind me, he warmed up with his jumping from memory. Was that Newcastle?
Yeah, I thought he found pretty good rhythm throughout, and he kind of was idling after the last off 127, been put up 5. I don't think that's insurmountable. He's rated 133 over hurdles, and he was coming back from a long layoff then. I think Ben Paulin has had at least a double at Warwick today, so the horse is continuing in great order. And
Jaeger Bombay.
Jaeger Bombay, I mean, he'll be. Hey, it's a big night for him.
It's a big night for Benny Boy.
Yeah,
Unit 64 hosed up, didn't it? That was great to see after a string of seconds. All right. So keeping the faith with a horse that probably still has quite a lot of scope to improve over fences.
Definitely.
All right. How's that race worked out? Let's have a little run.
I think Lord Rocco ran okay again the other day. Did he finish second again?
Yeah. Rob Way tipped him, so that'll be why he didn't win. I was on Dr. Ken, like Barry Mines is a non-runner, and I'm open to suggestion now here, really. I think Bold Endeavour's definitely, when he gets a sound surface again, he can defy that £3 iron mark, a £9 iron mark, sorry. I wonder whether there's something at Festival for him. Dr. Ken I would have liked, otherwise I thought air was a little bit sharp from last time. This would have been perfect, but not the ground, of course. It's been a better Christmas this time around for Murph, hasn't it? He's had some really nice horses.
Going well, and I agree with you. Dr. Ken, I think much he got beat the last day. He probably bumped into another progressive rival as well, and I think up in trip further on more galloping circuits, he's also on the right side of.
Yeah, 100%. I think we'll see him back at Aintree probably at some point. He's that type of horse. Surrey Quest then would have been the second string for Nicky Henderson's, but Paul Keeley wasn't bothered about Bold Endeavour running. He liked this chap in his Sizzlers earlier on, the 5-year-old, who caught the eye in his staying chase debut. That was at Uttoxeter when he just got going, really. But I don't know, he's a lightly raced horse. He could just be a bit better than them, and he's getting marker 128. Not too many times on a Saturday you see a Henderson horse in a big handicap rated that batch. What did you like in the closer?
It was hard to pick between two, unanswered prayers or tea for free, and I'm going to go with Tommy Cannon and Chris Gordon, unanswered prayers after his win at Cheltenham, staying on, so this extra little bit of trip won't matter.
He's shown most of his form on a sound surface, but he did win on a soft surface at Wincanton when he beat a horse called Fleming's Tide. He's a tough horse, this chap, isn't he?
Do you know what? I don't mind horses that won on good and like Newbury soft, but it's been raining there. It's soft. They seem to go through it for me. That never seems to bother me. And tea for free as well. I think Lily Pinchin claiming free. I think she's a real good rider, and she's running a lot of winners for Charlie Longston.
Well, he is the one that's been running on good ground, of course, but we don't know much about him doing. He's a Court Cave. What do we know about Court Cave?
They normally like decent ground.
Right.
Plenty of them.
Okay, let's have a look at the dam then. There's a gale there. That means it's usually strong gale, doesn't it? So, it's out of Golan. So, guys, your 4-timers, we will be ripping that home for you. If T for Free and Lily Pinchin is there, 2 out, we'll be getting excited for you here in the studio. They're going down then. Final race of 2022 here for us on Racing Post Live. We'll be back with you tomorrow, and then, of course, we'll be with you Saturdays throughout January as well. All right, good stuff. Are you out tonight, are we?
Yep.
Yeah.
You are as well, Batch.
Yeah, out tonight, yeah.
Brighton better watch out.
I'm going to the pub, watch the football.
And then who knows?
And then who knows?
Christ, you got a party, of course. We will be on Charlie Post Watch tomorrow because you're back with us at 1 p.m.
Oh, yeah.
You're going to be all right?
Yeah.
You come along. Is it a racing fraternity thing, or is it
No.
not taking the stable staff out then?
No, we did that pre-Christmas.
Did you? All right.
Ended up harrowing the gallop at 3:45 a.m. in the middle of the frost.
You do that, do you?
What, when it's cold? Yeah.
You harrow a gallop, do you?
Through the night, yeah, of course.
right,
You
okay,
keep
is
it
that
going.
right?
I mean, I must admit, it didn't get the most quality harrowing that night. As in, the grass got a bit of a dusting as well as I swerved off.
I can imagine. What about your household then? I think you've probably got 2 happy sons with you, Barry. Desperados tonight for New Year, is it?
Yeah, I'll have a glass of champagne or 2. Yeah,
Oh,
quite
champagne.
a low key affair. Looking forward to hooting Nanny with Jules Holland. That's the usual thing in the Orr household on New Year's Eve, and bit of that. Wishing the New Year. Open the front door and the back door. The front door to let the New Year in, and the back door to let the old one out. And that's the tradition here.
I like that,
I
Barry.
might have to do that myself, absolutely. I like that. Out with the old and in with the new, absolutely. Yeah, we all feeling positive about 2023?
Yep.
Yeah, all right. And look, we appreciate it's tough out there for you guys at the moment, but you're obviously feeling positive. Is this the final year?
Do you know what, Dave? I think I've got to wave the white flag. I think
Jersey's no more, is it?
I think
The
I
champion.
think I'm no more. I think
They will give you a badge to still get in the races,
Yeah.
and a ticket to the car park.
As
You'll
long
be
as
all
I get a
right.
badge to get in the races, but yeah, I'm waving the white flag. I think Rick, that's me done.
Well, he's thrilled to hear that because it means you can swap seats, of
Go on,
course.
do you want to test it out through the last race here? Yeah.
Batch, of course, can't do it being a licensed individual. Right, the flag is up.
Here we go.
Here we go, and we filled a little bit then. And, the flag person today, I'm getting it. The flag person today is, I tell you what, has been earning their corn, let's put it that way. Plural as well, pronouns. It's a big old year ahead for me, not just you guys, let me tell you. Surrey Quest then, Barry. Sure to go off Fav now, by quite some way by the looks of it as well.
Yeah, 4.0. Halo de Zobos come in for some support, is into 7. Unanswered prayers a bit weak at 6.8. 4.5, Malinello.
All right then, Charlie Post's Hope, and off we go for the final time. Then visibility not easy. Wasn't it thrilling to see Hermes Allen overhyped? Some of you saying in the chat, not surprised, considering these comparisons with Brave Man Game and what going to preview circuits, now going to be all about some game.
Is that pre-race they're saying overhyped?
After.
After, really?
After. Yeah. There's some good judges out there as well in Racing Post Chatland. All right then, so T for 3. Lily Pinchin then struggling to keep this one from not leading Batch. I think we can agree on that, can't we?
Yeah, she's hopefully just get him in front and he just sort of drop his head a little bit, but he's got one chasing him along, so just keeping him alight a little bit.
Along with the DeZobo. Yeah.
A lot of court Ks with a slightly awkward head carriage.
Have they?
Yeah, often, yeah. Like,
You
slightly
sniff
off.
at them at the sales, do you?
No, I've had a few, done
Here
well.
comes a court, go
Yeah.
put your checkbook away, friend.
No.
All right, okay. Surrey Quest on the inside. That has got a funny head carriage as well. What's that by? Surrey Quest, let's have a little look.
Milan.
Oh, yeah.
Recently.
Oh, I know. Great memories of Milan as well. Absolutely. All right, okay.
You go there on holiday?
Milan. I've never been to Milan.
No.
I don't think I've been to Milan. I've been to Italy a few times. I went twice this year, actually, believe it or not.
You like a bit of that, don't you?
I don't mind a bit of Italy. You
I go to France quite a lot.
Oh,
anyway.
jambon. Quite absolutely. Surrey Quest in third then. Oh, that's
Let's
Malinello in
go.
third. What's the green horse here? I said
Unanswered
green
prayers.
horse.
Unanswered prayers.
Oh, yeah, of course. Absolutely winged that one. And looking out the back at the moment as well, we've got the Eyes of the Scorpion, who's quite an interesting horse. He's been waiting to go fencing this one, but the market suggests
He
not
by
today.
Scorpion, is he?
He's talking to head carriages, Barry, they're as crazy as they get, aren't they, I don't think. What about the market? Is that going crazy yet, or is it all very sedate?
Halo de Zobo made a bit of a bloomer there, so his price shoot at 7.8. He's into 7.2 now, but your favourite's still strong, Surrey Quest at 3.5. It's the same price now for Marinello, who's gone favourite actually on the exchange at 3.3.
Or could he end 2022 on a winner? Charlie Poste delivering again. Let's find out. Just slightly losing his position there is Halo de Zobo. Nothing to ask, of course. We should have mentioned this one for Paddy Brennan. The first string, of course, you would imagine of Fergal O'Brien was on a hat trick. A little bit to answer on the ground. That one sees them in as well. Posty, what sort of gallop have we gone, and who do you like?
I think just an ordinary gallop. I think Lydia Pinchin setting sensible fractions on T for free. I mean, I'm perfectly happy with Malinello. I think most of these novices have found good jumping rhythm. And, Halo de Zobo has travelled up well. I'd argue if anything out of the field, he is possibly the one that's slightly over racing at this stage.
OK, all right. And I'm not sure what the Scorpion's doing out the back, but eyes of the Scorpion, Conor Brace probably not enjoying himself too much at the minute. And his stablemate, nothing to ask ahead of him as well. Batch, what's catching your eye? How's Unanswered Prayers, Digley?
Oh, I do like the way he's travelling and jumping. Tommy's kept him out wide, but as Charlie said, they're all in a nice sort of rhythm.
OK, all right. Yeah, I'm not surprised. I mean, he sort of took the ball by the horns last time at Cheltenham, didn't he, in a funny run race. And from memory, a Gavin Conwell horse came up his inside at Cheltenham, didn't quite go by, but he's tough and he should build on this one. And like I say, has one on all sorts of ground as well. Surrey Quest, Posty, that's the one that everyone wanted to be with, seemingly.
Yeah, I mean, no issues at the moment if you're a Surrey Quest backer. James Bone got him down the inside, travelling, jumping well at this stage.
All right, highlights tomorrow, guys, for you on Racing Post Live, called the Relkill Hurdle. We've got a sumptuous handicap as well with Midnight River and Il Ridotto locking horns again. We'll be going to Musselburgh as well, where they've got a really, really good card up there. Do join us at 1 p.m. Keep us in the cheer on New Year's Day. Well, we'll be giving you our resolutions on our wishes for the year ahead. All right, we are 6 out now. Barry, let's come to you. T for free. At the moment, we're worried about how he's going on the ground. She's making no bother about it at all. Nicely up in front.
Yeah, enjoying it. Jumping from fence to fence is 4.5, so 7 to 2. Same price for Malinello, and it's 3.5 Surrey Quest now. Fair fav again. And
I'd said that Nothing to Ask will start to be going a bit shorter as well, because Paddy Brennan's making a move.
He definitely is. You're caked in mud down the inside now, isn't it?
Some of those pictures after the Welsh National, by the way, you didn't come back with a blot on you when you won it, of course, did you?
No, it was a funny race, as in Dennis O'Regan went off in front of Giles Cross and I sat second and we didn't see anyone else.
Did you like the cigar, by the way, when that was running at Chepstow? Did you enjoy a bit of that?
Yeah, I loved it.
Little tear going down his eye. I would be for the front runner here, I think. I think Lily Pinchin has timed this beautifully. He's got a lovely rhythm. I'd be with the 4-timer, lads.
Yeah.
Unanswered Prayers has gone back, I think, for falling in a hole.
Lucky I've got a backup, Lily.
Now, this is interesting. We've got 4 very progressive horses here. Halo de Zobo may be the one that's just going to start struggling in a minute, but he's still there, the grey, for Paul Nicholls. Surrey Quest has got a bit to find as well. At the moment, it's T for free, leading them all into the 4th last. Need a winger here. Malinello for Posty. Nothing to ask on the inside. Surrey Quest now mounting its move. Call it, guys.
Malinello.
Oh, he sawed that one as well. Nothing to ask, sunk on the inside, I think. Surrey Quest now started to shake the reins as well. James Bone desperate not to get to a share of the front too soon. How much has he got left under the body?
Lily Pinchin.
3 out there. Lily Pinchin is absolutely
on,
loving life here. But here comes Malinello. He looked beat at one point in Newcastle and pulled it out. Can he do it for Posty? All of a sudden, we got the 4-timer for the lads out there. Andy Sim and the boys. Come on then, lads. So here we go. Visibility coming to the last. I'll tell you what. What's under the bonnet? Surrey Quest has sunk. Oh, no, what's that coming back? It's not Unanswered Prayers, though, is it?
No, Malinello on this side.
No, I know. In 4th, I'm looking at. Oh, she's winning the
last.
The story of his career. Yeah. First place loser in 2nd. Well done, you 4-timers out there. You brilliant. Called it, didn't you? We were worried about the ground. You weren't having a bit of it. Happy New Year indeed. She's absolutely bolted up.
You can have it back.
I'm having this one, Dave.
Are you? Yeah, you did call
I'm having this.
Right. Go out on a high. Nicholls gets the 2nd, and it is the long-time Malinello in 3rd as well. Barry Orr, that was lovely to watch. Didn't get one wrong.
Yeah, she was brilliant on it, Lily Pinchin. Betfair SP at 10.5. Your runner-up, Malinello, trade at a low of 2.30 in running. Surrey Quest traded just a little bit bigger at 2.50, which is 6 to 4. Not a bad run at all from Halo de Zobo, traded at a low of 6.0. I think that was pre-race. That wasn't in the run. Never looked like winning, but he's ran a decent, respectable race. But yeah, the last race of the year on Racing Post Live goes to T for free. And Lily Pinchin, who I believe is a friend of the show.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, we like Lily. You know Lily. Dave. What can you tell us about her? Because you are the encyclopedia about riders.
I think it's taken massive steps forward this year. Probably was a little bit reliant on her stick through the early parts of her career and has really settled that down and is shown serious attributes that she's going to have a career beyond her claim.
And Barry's right, we've all cheered her at one time this year for sure over the line. All right, there we go, that's the races done. I'm going to end off with a quote, guys, from Paul Nicholls, if you don't mind. The Maestro trainer from Ditchy is talking about, very interesting stuff actually, about Hermes Allen. You thought he was some of you overrated out there. He's got to be to the top of my novice. Apparently Harry got off and said it's the best I've ever sat on. When you bear in mind Brave Man's Game and some of the other horses that Harry sat on, Clanzobo, etc., that's some statement, isn't it? He's very exciting. He will be going over fences. He will also be going straight to Cheltenham. Didn't mention a target. They were worried about the ground. Everyone at Ditchy was worried about the ground. So there you are. We've seen a worldie, haven't we? It's been a worldie of a year for us here on Racing Post Live. Barry, nearly every Saturday I spend with you, it's an absolute pleasure, man. Thanks for this year.
Yeah, I echo that, Dave. Thank you. Always a pleasure to be on the show. Always great to be on with the lads as well. It always goes fast because it's fun, and I think that's important. So Happy New Year to everyone. Happy New Year to all of you in the studio. And we'll see you the other side tomorrow for Cheltenham.
Happy New Year, Barry.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
not too much champagne tonight.
You're obviously trying to get on the beers in Dublin as well, are you?
Don't worry, I'm already on it, mate. Don't you worry about that. Anytime I want that. I think it'll be lucky to get any champagne after the boys have just toasted Man United like that, wouldn't he? Posty, same, I think, absolutely. Everyone, really establish yourself on the show, same as you, Batchy. Everyone loves it when the boys get together.
Boys are back in town.
The boys are back in town. Can't get rid of them. The weighing room thought they'd seen enough of you, but no. Every time they go home in the car on Twitter, up you pop. Great stuff. All the best in 2023.
Thanks very much, Dave. Happy New Year. Happy New Year to the boys in the background as well.
Sam and Kieran in the gallery as well. John Bonfil will be doing it out there. Right.
Jean Bon.
All right, listen, that's it for 2022 here on Racing Post Live in association with Betfair. We'll be back at 1 p.m. Don't you worry about us. We'll be on strong form.